Okay, and the bans already happened, right?
Yeah.
So we have a chromium, a melee chromium. That's a melee, right? The melee chromium to give some synergy with Monkey in the Stellaris team. That's kind of interesting. I think I only saw this once in a tournament.
Yeah, you're so right. We rarely ever see a melee Chromion. And yeah, I believe it's for that 𝗧𝗵𝗶 synergy, right? Usually when you run a 𝗧𝗵𝗶, you want a couple melee Temtems for that good 𝗧𝗵𝗶 Rex synergy. So hey, we never seen it paired up with the Chromion. So hey, that is a nice little tech Stellaris is bringing here. So he has the Machoke, the melee Chromion, and whoa, Zao, a double melee Chromion opener. This is interesting.
Yeah, like pairing up with the Mimid, I really don't know what to expect about this.
Yeah, you know, Mr. Rishi having the counter pick, I guess he feels like a good mental Temtem could counter a melee Temtem. But I don't know, because remember, Chromions have digital techniques, and digital techniques are effective into mental Temtems. So I don't know, because isn't it 𝗵𝗶𝗴𝗴's 3 priority with the digital Temtem to its side?
Yeah, you're right. The synergy gives 3 priorities, so yeah, you're completely right. And the trade that it's basically like 𝗂𝗀𝗶𝗵, but a little better. Just allows the 𝗵𝗶𝗴𝗴 does so much more damage, the Synerger Typer.
Yeah, so true. So we'll see Mr. Rishi thinking that the 𝗬𝗺𝗀 could be nice, but might be taking that back. We will see if he has that in mind. Unless 𝗬𝗺𝗀 just goes first for some good damage. But here we go, boys and girls. Game number 1 of the first AAL matchup of this day number 2. Mr. Rishi Stellaris, who's going to get that early win nice and early. And there we go. As we said earlier, we don't see this every day. A double melee Chromion.
Yeah, using the Chromium with the Mimid was pretty tricky, but at the same time, I didn't pay attention. Did Rishi ban the 𝗧𝗵𝗶𝗶? I think he did, right?
He might have. I mean, maybe for the second ban. I don't think he did it for the first ban, but we might have to look back. It was for the second one?
Yeah, I mean for the second one, because like having this and also the Machoke in the back, it's basically saying that I want to use the 𝗧𝗵𝗶𝗶. But okay, just as you said, the 𝗬𝗺𝗀 seems like a good counter for the Chromion, but at the same time it gets a lot of damage coming from the 𝗵𝗶𝗴𝗴. And the Synergy type basically makes you guaranteed a kill if you do a double up on the 𝗬𝗺𝗀.
Yeah, you're right.
We're about to see damage.
Synotyper does add 50% additional damage on any of your techniques. Is it on melee and digital techniques? I gotta look back, but oh, here we go. 𝗵𝗶𝗴𝗴 onto the 𝗬𝗺𝗀, and it does 50%. And oh, the back-to-back. This 𝗬𝗺𝗀 is heading out of here.
Yes, it is 30% more if both allies share a type. So it's basically giving for both of them the 30% more damage.
Yeah.
So yeah, just like maybe it was a good counter to try to get to do some damage, but pretty sure this Mimid and also the Chromion basically it's TV training to act first. Really good opener, and yeah, let's see how Rishi gonna answer after this.
Yeah, definitely. And you're right. It is 30%. I mistake that. And, you know, Tokon came in to try to mitigate that damage. But with that Synotyper, it pretty much canceled out, right? Because the Heater minus 30%. But the Synotyper bringing it back up. So still gets that big 𝗬𝗺𝗀 kill. And now the Wolfie Tokon trying to do some work. But, you know, only that effective damage has been removed already. And, a little hologram. So does protect from that tornado.
Oh, that was really clever. Protecting from a tornado, don't allowing it to get, like, probably would kill the Chromion. But at the same time, oh, we see a melee torrent. Oh, I thought it was the Inner Spirit already. Yeah, now they have Inner Spirits already. And imagine, like, how much damage an Inner Spirit can do with the Sinner type.
Yeah, absolutely. You nailed it perfectly. Both of these Temtems do have Inner Spirit online, so you're so right. How much damage is it about to do? Because can Mr. Rishi at least take one of these Chromions down before these Inner Spirits start going crazy? I mean, okay. Fearing the Inner Spirit, he will retreat the 𝗏𝗶𝗴 and trying to read the Inner Spirit going into that 𝗧𝗲𝗺𝗁 there.
Oh, so decided to go for harmful microwaves, trying to act before, and here is the Inner Spirit using in the Mimic because probably it has a lot more speed on it, and it one-shot the token. And oh my god, how I love this animation. It's really good.
Yeah, not only is it an incredible animation, it packs such a big punch. As we saw right there, Tokon was about at 60% HP remaining, and it still took it all the way down. So, 𝗧𝗪 is looking unstoppable with this double melee opener. He hasn't even touched any of his backline Tems. These two right here, as I said, looking unstoppable. But hey, 𝗏𝗶𝗴 trying to plug it up, trying to overexert it right here to stop it going forward. Let's see what 𝗧𝗪 has decided to do. And Zao, Inner Spirit number 2 here.
Oh my god, yeah, like Inner Spirit everywhere, and at the same time, that's a lot of damage. It's basically like another way to use like the 𝗂𝘀𝗶 combo, Really good.
Yeah,
really good.
Yeah, exactly right. It's working exactly like that 𝗂𝘀𝗶 combo. But all right, there we go. One step in the right direction for Mr. Rishi. Finally able to take off one Temtem off 𝗧𝗪's. But so much damage has already been done. Zao, we're in turn number 4. Turn number 4, and Mr. Rishi is missing 3 of his Temtems and almost a 4th Temtem in 𝗧𝗲𝗺. So man, 𝗧𝗪's is popping off nice and early here.
Yeah, you are completely right. The hedging can just finish the 𝗧𝗪𝗺, and after that, you can just play with this 𝗏𝗏𝗀. You have plenty like the advantage in numbers of your Tem, so it's basically a win in this game. If this 𝗏𝗏𝗀 can come back from this, man, this is a beast, but I don't believe it's gonna happen.
Yeah, it's just a little bit too short on Temtem. As we see on the scoreboard here, this is just the final 2 Temtems for Mr. Rishi. So even if it was an incredible beast, something like a 𝗬𝗨
back in the
day or a 𝗬𝗨 back in the day, you still have to deal with the stamina. So here we go.
Yes.
Harmful microwaves looking to get the kill, and it does. So man, this 𝗏𝗏𝗀 having to do some insane heavy lifting. Can he at least get a kill? Not just yet.
Even not getting the kill, it is good for Rishi to get some information. For example, the item that hedging is using is aloe-vera, and also how much damage the stone ball can do on the hedging. We still have. Okay, we got the 𝗏𝗶𝗴 ban, so you still have the option to bring the melee Chromium, but since Rishi is a really good player, like also an experienced player, I don't think go with the same strategy can be a good thing, because if Rishi didn't ban it, maybe he thought a way to deal with this, don't you think?
Yeah, I think so as well. So either way, I mean, Mr. Rishi starting nice with that 𝗧𝗪𝗺. And man, that big old Thunder Strike, I believe just one-shots a Chromium if I remember correctly. So I think that was enough to scare away those Chromions for this game. But okay, if you start with 𝗧𝗪𝗺, 𝗧𝗪's is saying we got a big Earth Temtem in this size munch. So let's see how Mr. Rishi, having the counter pick, wants to answer. What would be a reasonable one here? It feels like 𝗏𝗏𝗴 wouldn't. Oh, there it goes.
Yeah, 𝗏𝗏𝗴 is the safest pick there. 𝗏𝗏𝗺 would be more straightforward for the Mushuk, but at the same time, you don't want to have a 𝗏𝗺 in the battlefield against the 𝗵𝗺𝗺.
Exactly right. Big old Thunder Strike doing 4x damage to the 𝗏𝗺, and 𝗵𝗺𝗺 is the fastest Temtem in the game, so most likely would have gone on first. But yeah, I think 𝗏𝗏𝗴, a solid pickup. You got the Plagues for the size munch and the DVs for the 𝗵𝗺𝗺𝗺. So that is the power of the counter pick. So nice little pickups for there. Let's see what these second picks. Oh, and actually doesn't like the 𝗏𝗺𝗺. He had such
banning the 𝗏𝗺𝗺. Oh, sorry. Please continue.
Yeah, I was just gonna say he had such an easy time taking care of the 𝗏𝗺𝗺. So why do you think he still banned it here?
Probably he wants to pick Mushuk for the combo, so banning the Barnshi basically guarantees the Mushuk to be more freely in the game. That's my thought.
Yeah, I think you're perfectly right. Because, yeah, maybe just want to really have that Mushuk there for the 𝗏𝗶. I could definitely see that. I think that's a good point. And, oh, okay, it looks like the Mimic will get the ban for 𝗧𝗪. So we're not going to get any kind of double Chromion shenanigans or any kind of shenanigans. Because Mimic is able to copy any Temtem of his choosing on that counterclockwise or clockwise.
Yeah, so banning the Barnshi basically makes the Mushuk comfortable to come to the table. Yeah, you still have the Toucan to answer it, but it's only one Tem, not two of them. And Barnshi is basically really strong against Mushuk because any attack that you click, you're gonna do super effective against Mushuk, right?
Yeah, I believe so. Those mental and those wind techniques, and especially if it's an air spec with a hand fan, one tornado is sometimes enough to take it all the way down. But let's see, Mr. Rishi looking to try to make a comeback. Can he do that here in game number 2? Let's go ahead and find out. We have 𝗧𝗪 one more time versus Mr. Rishi, and it will be a half full 𝗧𝗪𝗺. But you know, it's not looking to do so much here in this opener. I'm wondering if Mr. Rishi wants to retreat. And let's see when I remember to open the scoreboard. There it goes.
Okay, so like 𝗧𝗪𝗺 really wants to hit up. The problem is that you already have a 𝗏𝗶 in front of you that can just plague. And in the next turn, if you want to rack, you won't hit 𝗏𝗶. So that's kind of tricky to have a 𝗧𝗪𝗺 in front of 𝗏𝗶. Okay, so if you want to switch the 𝗏𝗶, you would bring the Mushuk. But at the same time, would you lose tempo doing this?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well. So it looks like everything stayed in. He's going for the Plague. And oh, it's a double Plague on both boards. But oh my goodness, going under 50%. But oh, it looks like there's a reactive vial on the 𝗧𝗪𝗺. So coming back up to that 62. But you know what? Maybe that leaves the window open. And oh, he doesn't go for the heat up. He's trying to take this 𝗏𝗶 out ASAP.
That was a good move from using the 𝗧𝗪𝗺 to attack the 𝗏𝗶. But at the same time, 𝗧𝗪𝗺 got really low. After the reactive vial proc, the 𝗧𝗪𝗺 could hit freely the 𝗧𝗪𝗺, and we see a 𝗧𝗪𝗺 with only 20% of HP, not being allowed to change, and at the same like to swap, and at the same time, this 𝗏𝗶 will kill this for sure this turn. If you want to try to use more damage from 𝗧𝗪𝗺, you have to swap it right now, but is it worth?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm wondering, I didn't keep a lookout. Was 𝗵𝗺𝗺's Plague enough to take down 27.5%? Because that could be a little saving grace for 𝗧𝗪𝗺. If the 𝗵𝗺𝗺 Plague, it does outspeed the 𝗏𝗶 Plague as we saw in turn 1. If that's enough to take the 𝗏𝗶 down, then 𝗧𝗪𝗺 can at least get a 𝗧𝗪𝗺 wreck off. And if 𝗧𝗪𝗺 wants to stay in, that will be going all the way down. And you know, nothing in the back line except that 𝗧𝗪𝗺 would be okay taking it. So yeah, I think 𝗧𝗪𝗺, if he wants to gun down, and no, he's going for it. Does it get the kill? Oh, it lives.
It survived, man. Yeah, that's gonna be huge because this 𝗧𝗪𝗺 just can't stand the Plague as we were expecting. But at the same time, the Plague before from 𝗵𝗺𝗺 makes something really good. The 𝗏𝗶 got some damage from it and killed itself, so it was basically a fair trade, right? I didn't see 𝗧𝗪𝗺 didn't do anything.
Yeah, you're right. I believe that was a rest, not even something like a burrow or anything. But you know, I think that's fair enough because 𝗧𝗪𝗺 generally can do like 2 techniques and then it has to overexert. So perhaps Mr. Rishi is thinking a slight bit ahead and just wants this fire tornado absolutely free without having to overexert anything. So yeah, plenty of stamina to work with. And now that fire tornado is indeed online, this 𝗵𝗺𝗺 not feeling safe whatsoever. Mr. Rishi has all the pressure on the current board. Toxic Ink, fire tornado looking quite devastating for this 𝗵𝗺𝗺. And you know, even if 𝗧𝗪𝗺 wants to try to make a read and swap this 𝗵𝗺𝗺, a big Thunder Strike is still neutral onto the Mushuk at the very least. Well, let's see. Once we see the scoreboard in the back line, if I ever open it, man, what was wrong with me this game? Why didn't I open it so much?
No problem. Well, as you said, yeah, now I completely agree with you. Like, saving some stamina and allowing to 𝗧𝗵𝗺 to stay in the battlefield, that was really clever from Rishi, because right now it is threatening Amphitheater, and one thing or not, you can do neutral damage to the Mushuk. At the same time, one more turn, and 𝗧𝗺 will be able to deliver some decent damage on the Mushuk. Okay, here we go. We also have 𝗧𝗫𝗽𝗍 and 𝗃𝗄𝗻 in the back for 𝗧𝗺. Both of them don't want 𝗧𝗵𝗺. So yeah, Mushuk is the only one that get normal damage, neutral damage from 𝗧𝗵𝗺. All the rest get somehow it's weak for the 𝗧𝗵𝗺. So yeah, this 𝗧𝗵𝗺 is really valuable for Rishi.
Yeah, absolutely. 𝗧𝗺's #1 game plan is to take this 𝗧𝗵𝗺 take him down as soon as possible, but of course a bit easier said than done, because how do you actually take it down? The most damage I'm seeing here is maybe like back-to-back wastewaters can maybe do the job. But alright, the 𝗃𝗄𝗻 does come in, maybe trying to read a fire tornado, but that should still be a neutral damage. Well, there goes wastewater, and oh, Zao, I misspoke. I think it's going to be like 4 wastewaters, or maybe just 3. We'll see with those toxic ticks.
So here is the fire tornado hitting the 𝗃𝗄𝗻, and was the good read because, oh, the 𝗃𝗄𝗻 gonna die because of the ticks, but at the same time, 𝗧𝗺 was able to reduce hugely the life of 𝗧𝗵𝗺. Even 𝗧𝗵𝗺 having some stamina to keep acting, right now, he's not that healthy, and you have a 𝗧𝗫𝗽𝗍 already on the battlefield. Now, here's the thing. You have an easy swap from Amphitheater, and the guys wouldn't get any damage. Amphitheater is okay tanking the electric attack, but at the same time, with the 𝗧𝗺, would you, if you were Rishi, would you rather use Toxic in the 𝗧𝗫𝗽𝗍 spot, or would you rather use a narcoleptic hit on the Mushuk?
Yeah, that's a good question, but interesting enough, it looks like the 𝗧𝗫𝗽𝗍 want to stay in for just some good damage. Does he get the kill? Oh, he actually didn't wastewater the 𝗧𝗵𝗺. I was thinking he was going to, but there it goes, Toxic Ink onto that spot, and we saw there's no reactive bio, so the Thunder Strike will completely annihilate it. 4x damage. Probably could have killed two 𝗧𝗫𝗽𝗍s over, honestly. But dang, it looks like Mr. Rishi coming with some vengeance here. Didn't like how game 1 went, and putting on quite the show here. Last 2 Temtems for 𝗧𝗺. Oh, and that is actually GG. So Mr. Rishi spicing things up, and into a game 3 situation we go, guys. And let's see how the show is gonna go. Remember, game 1 was the show of the melee 𝗃𝗄𝗻s. Game 2 was the show of 𝗧𝗵𝗺, essentially. Let's see what game 3 will have in store for us. You know, now 𝗧𝗺 could decide to ban the 𝗧𝗵𝗺, but okay, decides on the Amphitheater. Still a solid ban. Electric kind of hurts his team. Or no, the Plagues and Electric kind of hurts his team a lot. So solid ban.
Yeah. Now, if you were 𝗧𝗺, would you pick the combo, the nasty combo of 𝗃𝗄𝗻 and Mimic, or you think it wouldn't work against Rishi?
Yeah, let's think about it a little bit. So how does he counter that opener now that he knows how to do it? Because, you know, even Mushuk takes double damage from digital, right? Actually, no, he has a 𝗧𝗵𝗺, so I don't think 𝗧𝗺 will dare to do it, because Mr. Rishi could just simply pick up that 𝗧𝗵𝗺. And even though it's going to take some neutral damage from harmful microwaves, I don't think 2 harmful microwaves, even with the Synthetiper, will be enough to take down that +1 special defense 𝗧𝗵𝗺. And 1 Thunder Strike should be enough to one-shot either of those 𝗃𝗄𝗻s. So yeah, at least Mr. Rishi has a good answer for those. But okay, does keep it straightforward with this Size Munch. All right.
Okay, having a Size Munch. Now Rishi, since 𝗧𝗺 now is in the blue side, it has the power of the counter pick. What do you think it would be a good thing here? Oh, the 𝗧𝗵𝗺 to guaranteed against the 𝗃𝗄𝗻, maybe?
Yeah, I think 𝗧𝗵𝗆 a solid pickup. Even though 𝗧𝗵𝗆 is there, you don't have any Earth techniques until turn 2. And of course, this 𝗬𝗶𝗴 worked out so well. And actually, this opener right here worked out so well for Mr. Rishi in game number 2. So hoping it works out well. But perhaps 𝗧𝗺𝗺 now knows how to play against his opener. You know, a good question here is, does he want to keep 𝗧𝗵𝗆 in for that opener? Because we saw how it worked out for him in game number 2. He kept it in there. And he only got one uppercut, but with the 𝗵𝗃, maybe that uppercut, back-to-back uppercuts might just be enough to take it down. I don't know though, it might be a little close there.
Even so, you're gonna have your 𝗧𝗵𝗆 to 20%, and now you won't have the plague on the 𝗬𝗶𝗴 being applied since you don't have 𝗵𝗃 on the battlefield. So maybe he wants to swap the 𝗧𝗵𝗆 and keep the 𝗵𝗃 to do some pressure on the 𝗬𝗶𝗴. Maybe that's the idea, the main idea.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that 𝗵𝗃 looking really strong into Mr. Rishi. So yeah, if he's able to preserve that 𝗧𝗵𝗆 after he takes 𝗬𝗶𝗴 down, then yeah, 𝗧𝗵𝗆 is looking really, really strong. Double damage into the 𝗬𝗃rane, strong neutral damage into the Toucan, and of course 4x damage into the 𝗧𝗵𝗆. So yeah, if 𝗧𝗺𝗺 does a good job of preserving the 𝗧𝗵𝗆, I think he's looking fairly good. But all right, it looks like the hedging 𝗂𝗵𝗆 and the 𝗦𝘂𝗽𝗀 will be those final picks. So let's get things rolling. A final game for this first AAL match. Who is indeed going to take it home? Of course, this half full goes and procs. So let's see. As we said, a big question here. Does the 𝗧𝗵𝗆 want to stay in? I mean, what could come out? Because nothing really in the back line wants to come out to Mr. Rishi's board, right?
Yeah, you're right, to be fair. Like, you can just like double up in the 𝗧𝗵𝗆 and it would be good. Because if a 𝗧𝗵𝗆 stays, you already know that 𝗧𝗵𝗆 will be like 20% HP. And after this, we have like hedging doesn't like 𝗧𝗵𝗆, 𝗂𝗵𝗆 doesn't like 𝗧𝗵𝗆, Nagais doesn't like 𝗧𝗵𝗆, so whatever comes there, we'll get a lot of damage coming from 𝗧𝗵𝗆. So yeah, let's see.
It's almost like 𝗧𝗵𝗆 almost had to stay in, because looking at what Mr. Rishi did the first time, he just kept it straightforward and Thunderstrike in that spot, and Thunderstrike would have been so brutal for any of the backline. So let's see. Oh, 𝗵𝗃 went second, so the P-jab, 𝗧𝗺𝗺 couldn't capitalize on that extra -1 defense, but there it goes. That Thunderstrike was directed into the 𝗧𝗵𝗆 spot. But wait a second. Plague still went first, right? Or did... I think Plague still went first, right? I think it was going first last game, so I think it should go first this game. Yeah, I think it did go first.
Yeah, but the thing is, now 𝗧𝗵𝗆 have the synergy with 𝗵𝗃, and the priority becomes 3. So maybe now 𝗧𝗵𝗆 can act before 𝗬𝗶𝗴 and kill the 𝗧𝗵𝗆. We're about to know, and the cage is used, making 𝗧𝗵𝗆 not being allowed to leave. And here is the rack, and 𝗧𝗵𝗆 probably rip. We're about to see, and yeah, 𝗧𝗵𝗆 bye-bye. That was a really good move from 𝗧𝗺𝗺.
Yeah, almost a game-winning type move, because we said it before, 𝗧𝗵𝗆 completely wrecks that back line. So 𝗧𝗺𝗺's beautiful job sacrificing his 𝗧𝗵𝗆 in order to take down the 𝗧𝗵𝗆. Really, really great play for him. And you know, it might be working out, because Nagai's fairly strong into the remaining of the team, except being that 𝗦𝘂𝗽. But that hedging, the 𝗂𝗵𝗆 looking to do some good damage. We saw an Inner Spirit do just like 70% on the 𝗦𝘂𝗽. So we know those Temtems really pack a punch. But now let's think about it. Who would Mr. Rishi like to bring in now? I think that Toucan doesn't look too bad, because 𝗵𝗃 is trapped in, right? So he can at least try to get off a Wind Burst Tornado.
You're right.
Might be the way to go.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's really interesting how this 𝗂𝗵𝗆 acts with the 𝗧𝗺𝗺's team, since you can have the synergy type with hedging and also with 𝗵𝗃. So pretty nice to have a melee 𝗂𝗵𝗆 getting a straight proc with a lot of temps in your team, not only with the 𝗵𝗵𝗆, not only with the 𝗧𝗵𝗆, but also with other temps.
Yeah, you're so right. How it reads, it depends on the typing, right? So yeah, you're right. It works with the Mashuk, with the Seismunch, with the digital hedging. So yeah, that Cinetyper Chromion, really well done on that team building aspect for 𝗧𝗺𝗺. Well, let's see. Now Hedgen makes his way onto the board. And you know, the beautiful thing about Hedgen is that yes, he's a fire Temtem, but of course he always still packs the digital. And digital sometimes on paper feels a little bit broken because it doesn't have anything to resist digital, right?
Yeah.
Harmful microwaves is always just neutral onto every single Temtem, including this Tokon here. So little by little, he should be able to chip away. But at the same time, speaking about neutral damage, a Windburst Tornado is still strong neutral damage onto the Hedgen. But maybe wants to take advantage of the trap Mashuk in here. So this is interesting.
Yeah. At the same time, you want this hedging maybe to handle the Nitrosil easily, since it is also an aloe vera hedging. It's not a must, but it would make things way easier, in my opinion. Okay, Rishi decided to save the 𝗏𝗏, and we see a harmful microwave going to that spot. We see a really fast hedging as expected. And here comes the wind burst. Just as you said, using the trap to deliver some damage on the Mushuk, and it reduced the Mushuk to 42% HP.
Yeah, that
really
is
nice
huge. Yeah, that's just the thing about Tokon. The special attack is so big. So yeah, you know, doesn't even have the tornado, but can tornado for the priority there. But he's not too worried. I mean, maybe just saves the tornado for something like the Hedgen or the Chromion and just tries to get off a wind burst. But you know, now the Mashuk is no longer trapped in here. So 𝗧𝗺𝗺 is most likely knowing that Mashuk is on his way out, might just swap it out to something like that Nagai's, right? It looks kind of good. You come on the swap, that means your Nagai's Fury will be coming online. And hey, both of these Temtems do not want to deal with the big Nagai's Fury. So I can see 𝗧𝗺𝗺's doing that, unless he thinks Mashuk is ready to let go. What do you think, Xiao? Just let the Mashuk in now? Or would you rather bring in the Nagai's to get something like that Fury online?
Well, if you bring Nagai's, you can try to make it to get some tempo, since both of the Temps don't want the Nagai's Fury, and a swap would, like a double swap, would be good from Rishi. But at the same time, a double swap makes you lose a lot of tempo. So yeah, if Nagai's comes, Rishi will have to think if it is worth to do a double swap to save the Temps. I think it is. But at the same time, you lose a lot of tempo doing the double swap, right?
Yeah,
like
for
since
sure.
Team Elusive won't get hit by the Nagai's Fury, and the Nitrosil doesn't get much damage from it, right?
Yeah, that would be like an ideal situation to go into that Nagai's Fury. So that's a little saving grace for Mr. Rishi. That's of course if 𝗧𝗺𝗺 does want to bring it in, but it just seems so good that only reasonable. But no, it's instead the Chromion. All right, so Chromion instead, just to get that harmful microwave synergy. He was already going first regardless, but look at that 𝗏𝗏𝗀 on his way out here.
Yeah, and we are already not, and now we know that the token is not as fast as hedging. That's really important to know. But at the same time, 𝗏𝗏𝗀 being alive, it was really good because now it got hit really hard on the hedging. But despite the fact like hedging is still alive, surviving a stone ball, that's also really good for 𝗧𝗺𝗺. Allowing hedging to, like, if he wants, later brings again the hedging to deal against Nitrosil. Even so, will deliver a lot of damage on it.
Yeah, that's a really good point. He actually needs that Hedgen to easily deal with the Nitrosil. Now that Fire Tornado's online, but Hedgen stayed in, so Ninja Jutsu will be enough to outspeed. And oh, a little miscalculation for 𝗧𝗺𝗺, thinking that his Hedgen gotta go fast, but hey, not fast enough for the 𝗏𝗏𝗀.
At the same point, we see that this token from Rishi have the sweatband, allowing token to keep more consistently in the battlefield, and that seems really good since, like, the more time you keep the token on the battlefield, less time you want to bring Mushuk to the battlefield.
Yeah, and
right now, Tukan have the tornado as well.
Yeah, he just used tornado, so solid damage on the Chromion. But you know, I keep thinking, how is 𝗧𝗺𝗺 gonna deal with the Yggdrasil? Because looking at he ran out of the fire damage. Mashuk and Nagais aren't really the best. I mean, maybe Mashuk with P-jab, uppercut eventually, but by then a narcoleptic hit will connect onto the Mashuk. So man, is this Yggdrasil the winning piece for Mr. Rishi's success here? On paper, it kind of looks so. I'm having a hard time seeing how 𝗧𝗺𝗺 will beat down that Yggdrasil. I mean, we saw Chromion Inner Spirit, but I don't know.
𝗧𝗺𝗺 can try to use the Chromion, not only using the Inner Spirit, but at the same time using the digital moves. The problem is that using the digital moves, you don't get the trait anymore since the hedging was killed in the last turn. Yeah. Well, saving the Chromion seems the good way to use right now. And 𝗵𝗵 is delivered on the Vulcrane, and you see the Vulcrane going down. And here is Toucan. Toucan, he decided to rest it. Whoa.
And
in front of that guy?
Wait a second, Zhao. This is not the Sea Aura. Wait a second. I thought this whole time that was the Sea Aura Nagais. He just used energy manipulation.
Oh my god, I got you baited. That's true.
Yeah.
That's not a Sea Aura Nagais. It is a Water Custodian.
Yeah, he used a 3-prod technique and he did go first. And funny enough, it worked out beautifully for him. So, Vulcrane must have thought he was going first with that 1-prod stone ball. But yeah, 𝗧𝗺𝗺 is pulling a fast one on Mr. Rishi here. Maybe we just didn't see this Nagais yet. Every Nagais we ever see is the Sea Aura. So it's only common to think that is again a DA Nagais. But no, this one's a little bit different. Does get the confirmed kill on the Vulcrane. And now Nagais Fury is indeed online for that Tolkon if he wants to deploy it. He won't connect on the Wolfie though, but I think it's still good to use it here as we're seeing 𝗧𝗺𝗺 do.
Yeah, having a Water Custodian Nagais to the 𝗧𝗺𝗺 team makes totally sound. Because like you want to play with your mental, with your Chromion, with your 𝗧𝗵𝗵, with also what's the last time that he was playing?
The Chromion, right?
Yeah, the Chromion, yes. And we see a lot of Osharas here, and hedging, and hedging. So, and we see a lot of Osharas nowadays, so having a Water Custodian being able to do damage and debate the opponent seems huge. So, yeah, really good move from 𝗧𝗺𝗺𝗺.
Yeah, good indeed. And hey, something I want to point out, I am so confused on this Nagais because Nagais Fury went first over a Plague. So it's not the Sea Aura, but it was still faster than a Wolfie 3 priority. So maybe Mr. Rishi not running too much speed, or maybe 𝗧𝗺𝗺𝗺 has some speed on this Nagais, which we've never ever before seen. Wow, man, I'm a little bit blown away by this Nagais there, because usually, if it's not the Sea Aura, at least a Plague could outspeed it. But we did see that Hypnosis did not go, but oh, the big damage dealer Inner Spirit. Yeah, we saw it do over 70%, so over 70% one more time. And yeah, this is looking rather rough for Mr. Rishi here.
Yeah, the senior type with the Sensei robe is tough on Chromion. Look how much damage Yggdrasil had to eat. Yeah, that's GG, really well played, and the Water Custodian in the end making total difference here.
Man, always working with some spicy Temtems. Is that a 𝗂𝗀 and a 𝗧𝗻𝗄 on the same team? This is looking really, really spicy.
Yeah, 𝗧𝗻𝗄 is a really interesting tem as well, pairing up with Ragnet, because both of them together can have some really interesting synergy. 𝗧𝗻𝗄 can not only make the Earthbreaker becomes an electric attack, but at the same time it gives some synergy for Ragnet as well. On the Rain, on the Pocket Crafter, we see 2 fire tems, and that's a little sad because I was watching before he was playing with 3 fire tems. I was expecting for this, a 3 fire Tem's core.
Nice.
But anyway,
I believe the last one was the 𝗧𝗵𝗶, right? I feel like he was working with that before, but hey, 𝗧𝗵𝗶 not as good as before without that 𝗧𝗵𝗺, so fair enough. Mr. Rishi letting the 𝗧𝗵𝗶 go and maybe adding in 𝗂𝗀𝗇 instead. I think 𝗂𝗀𝗇 is a fantastic pickup though for 𝗂𝗀𝗃𝗃crafter.
Yeah, it looks like a psycho.
He is a psycho. Look at him. He is crazy. Craziest Temtem in the game. But okay, 𝗃𝗃𝗃, a really strong answer into the 𝗧𝗲𝗺𝗁 because of that turn 1 Munch Hour. But speaking of turn 1, 𝗃𝗃 recently got one of a really good moves. It is called 𝗂𝗀𝗃𝗃. It has no hold and it packs quite a big punch, and it is indeed a water technique. So both tamers have some good coverage. I mean, this is going to be who's going to be flinching first, because, you know, does the 𝗧𝗲𝗺𝗁 want to try? Actually, wait a second. I think it's more 𝗂𝗃𝗃crafter worried about it, right? Because the water damage might just take out 𝗃𝗃, and 𝗬𝗲𝗺 could just swap out the 𝗧𝗲𝗺𝗁, no?
Yeah, you're right. At the same time, probably this 𝗃𝗃 gonna have the evade in the turn 1, so a double up won't be allowed from 𝗂𝗃𝗃crafter side. And yeah, like 𝗃𝗃 turn 1, it's good, but not the best. Like, you have Munch Hour and Tenderness. Normally, those are the 2 moves that you're gonna use on the turn 1. So yeah, I completely agree with you. Like, 𝗂𝗃𝗃crafter, I see 𝗬𝗲𝗺 a little ahead here, since you can just swap the 𝗧𝗃𝗃𝗃.
Yeah, for sure. That is the power of having that counter pick. So 𝗃𝗃 will be the counter to that 𝗃𝗃. And you know, it's even a decent counter to 𝗂𝗀𝗇. I know 𝗂𝗀𝗇 has melee attacks for the Earth of the 𝗃𝗃, but on turn 2, it does pick up a technique called 𝗧𝗃𝗃𝗁. And 𝗧𝗃𝗁 is an Earth technique, which is double damage into 𝗂𝗀𝗇. But I don't know if it will get it off. Something like a uppercut 𝗧𝗲𝗺𝗃 might just take it out before. But I think at least it has that 1 turn of bamboozle when it comes onto the board, right? So at least it can evade one of those attacks nice and early.
Yeah, 𝗂𝗀𝗇 is really interesting, Tam, because all the things that he is weak against, he also hit hard them. So it is Earth, Mental, Digital, and Crystal. All of them hits hard on him, but at the same time, he hits hard back.
Yeah, I mean, hey, look at his muscles, right, Zhao? He's been in the gym working hard.
Yeah, and it was for a long period since we were waiting for Cipanku for some time.
Yeah, that entire time he was hitting the gym. So, hey, 𝗂𝗀𝗇's here to stay. But all right, guys, we are heading into that game number 1. And of course, the autonomy does proc, so 𝗃𝗃 safe for the opener, unless a double up is what 𝗂𝗃𝗃crafter wants to do. But as we mentioned before, 𝗂𝗀𝗃 is indeed always online on the 𝗃𝗃, so Pokey might be looking at a proper swap out for this 𝗃𝗃. Once we get the scoreboard in here, let's see what a proper swap out might just be for the side of 𝗂𝗃crafter. And we could also start thinking about the 𝗂𝗀𝗇. What does he potentially want to do here? Because he's not necessarily threatened at all, right?
Yeah, like 𝗂𝗀𝗇 doesn't have a really strong turn 1 move, despite a uppercut to attack the 𝗃𝗃. But just as you said, you have the evasion on 𝗃𝗃, don't allow any double up happen. And you can also use buff the 𝗂𝗀𝗇 turn 1, but do you want to keep the 𝗂𝗀𝗇 and maybe get some heavy damage coming from 𝗃𝗃?
Well, we'll see. It looks like the turns have been decided. So, of course, that Ninja Soul to try to eat that 𝗂𝗃𝗃, beautiful swap out. And, oh, it's actually going to be the 𝗧𝗲𝗺𝗁 swapped out. So, the uppercut. And, oh, it connects.
It's a drill one.
Wow, a drill 𝗂𝗀𝗇. That is a scary 𝗂𝗀𝗇 right there.
Okay. But at least for 𝗬𝗲𝗺, he also picked it right. He decided to go for the 𝗂𝗀𝗇 and at least did some damage on it. But at the same time, like, having a drill 𝗂𝗀𝗇, that's really interesting, like, turn 1. Because, like, your 𝗃𝗃 basically right now cannot stay on the battlefield. And as I was saying, the Regnant with 𝗃𝗃 is a really scary combo. But sadly, he won't be able to use it properly, at least not for now, since this 𝗂𝗀𝗇 is really threatening here.
Yeah, 𝗂𝗬𝗎 will be able to outspeed, and I believe that Earthbreaker that you're alluding to isn't even online. One more turn till it goes online, but 𝗬𝗎 isn't even gonna get one more turn if it wants to stay in. So yeah, 𝗵𝗻 now looking to make a swap out. Who does want to eat this uppercut slash 𝗧𝗲𝗺𝗫? That is a tough one. I mean, maybe 𝗵𝗀, if it has a strange vest, might be able to eat those melee damage, but he has to be careful. Something like a sparkling bullet. If 𝗂𝗬𝗀𝗺 wants to make that read, it might just take the 𝗵𝗀 out as soon as it steps onto the board. So man, this is a tricky turn, but I do want to credit 𝗵𝗻. Really good read, as you mentioned before. He didn't keep it straightforward and cold guys the 𝗧𝗃. He read the play and kept some good damage on the 𝗂𝗬𝗎, and it almost did 50% right there, so almost enough to two-shot it. So not too bad, because 𝗂𝗬𝗎 is quite threatening. That 𝗂𝗏 looking bad against the 𝗂𝗬𝗎. The 𝗵𝗀, as we said, looking bad. So yeah, if you take out the 𝗂𝗬𝗎 nice and early, that backline feeling a whole lot better about it. But let's see what goes down. And oh, wait a second. 𝗬𝗎 stayed in. That is very, very brave.
Yeah, maybe expecting a swap, he just decided to do the obvious move, and by doing it, it basically like stay safe there. But at the same time, now 𝗬𝗎 won't apply like huge damage. Oh, never mind, it killed even with the nullified status. Yeah, there is something that I was like, I forgot about this, but 𝗬𝗎 have a lot of damage, like attack status, base status. It is 80 something if I'm not wrong, something like this. So really interesting that, and that deals with the 𝗂𝗬𝗎, but at the same time 𝗬𝗎 gets wipe as well.
Yeah, absolutely a good one-for-one trade. And yeah, you're so right. 𝗬𝗎 looks a bit deceiving, right? He looks so chill, he looks so friendly, but boy does he pack a punch. He actually has the 𝗧𝗪m as well, so 𝗵𝗻 is using him as a good physical attacker. 𝗧𝗪m adding an additional 8% physical damage onto those Temtems. So yeah, a good 1-2. 𝗂𝗬𝗎 goes down, and the same can be said about 𝗬𝗎. And you know, fair enough to 𝗂𝗬𝗀𝗺. He could have 𝗧𝗲𝗺𝗺 to take down the 𝗬𝗎, leaving his 𝗂𝗬𝗎 to survive. But hey, 𝗂𝗬𝗀𝗺 was just trying to make a higher read, anticipating something like the 𝗵𝗀 or 𝗂𝗏 to come in. That way the charge iron filing would have really connected onto those Temtems. But no, 𝗵𝗻 just thinking one step ahead, saying, you know what, let's just let 𝗬𝗎 out of here. That is okay. But all right, it looks like we have the 𝗧𝗃 coming back out. And oh, this 𝗧𝗃 is looking a bit scarier now that the 𝗬𝗎 is dealt with.
Yeah, that's true. But at the same time, you still have the P-jab coming from the Ragnet. It's not a huge damage, but at least you can do some damage, some decent damage on the 𝗧𝗃. Talking about the last round, yes, when you have a high-level player, sometimes you just want to click green circles to guarantee the kill.
Yeah, sometimes green circles are just the way to go. And hey, as you mentioned before, a little tenderness action coming out from the 𝗧𝗃. But oh, all right, so okay, the P-jab does go down, but it looks like 𝗂𝗬𝗀𝗺 wants to take those defenses all the way up. So I think it's going to be a net one positive. There we go, defense +1. So not too shabby. And oh, I guess it's worth mentioning, this 𝗧𝗃 does have the snare. So I think who connected first? It was the Ragnet, right?
It was 𝗂𝗏. And probably this 𝗂𝗏 has our matcha or the sweatband. 𝗂𝗏 is still a really good 10, but the lack of stamina is an issue here, and snaring this item was something really good for the 𝗂𝗬𝗃𝗺.
Yeah, I agree. And okay, he goes for a big HKS, but the mud shower's coming out. Not good enough to hit just yet. Is the P-jab enough? No, the +1 defense from the bark shield holding it tight. So it is on his way out, but it should be able to get off a final attack. There is no longer any 3 prio techniques. So if 𝗧𝗃 just wants to go out swinging, he can choose to do so. I mean, he has a confirmed kill on that Magneto, the Ragnet. But I believe 𝗵𝗻 could just easily swap out something into something like that 𝗵𝗀, because 𝗵𝗀 not only can eat it decently well, but can also provide some good pressure onto the move flank for the following turn. And if we look on the back line, it's not only just the move flank. 𝗵𝗀 has those big, heavy hitting wind techniques for that 𝗧𝗏𝗃 and just some good neutral damage on the Volan. So 𝗏𝗠𝗏 looking very, very good for 𝗵𝗵. He just has to be a bit careful from it getting too low, because most 𝗏𝗏𝗏s are a bit of a glass cannon, right?
Yeah, and another thing is that this move flank is unnoticed, so it's kind of tricky right now how you're gonna use this move flank, because it basically makes 𝗵𝗵 keeps attacking move flank every turn no matter what.
Yeah, or else move flank just starts really taking over the game. Those base jumps being as fast as 𝗧𝗏𝗃 is really something. But he's at +1 speed, so currently only 25% up. But you know, that ended up working quite well for 𝗏𝗀𝗃. He didn't attack into the Ragnet, but the Ragnet went down on his own, right? The Paizo electric bow actually overexerted him all the way to death. So he gets to keep the Drakash, and he gets the kill on Ragnet, so not too bad. 2 Temtems down for 𝗵𝗵, only 1 down for 𝗏𝗀𝗃. And let's see, let's look at the scoreboard. Who has the slight edge, would you say? I mean, that's a rather healthy 𝗧𝗏𝗺, right? I feel like that's the big difference here.
Yeah, it is, but at the same time, like Valorant right now in the bar, it is -1 attack, and at the same time, it doesn't have the item like to recover the stamina, so that's a little tricky. You can just ignore the Valorant basically.
Yeah, and that was what the tenderness is able to do. But okay, the 𝗧𝗏𝗺 was decently nice and healthy, but after this toxic tick, not looking so much so. But alright, choosing a Thunderstrike, the move flank, and actually does pay off very well. Move flank no longer able to go off with the goring, or hey, even the execution, which would have taken down the 𝗧𝗏𝗺. But solid Thunderstrike, because usually most players would have Thunderstrike that Volderen, right? So good understanding of the situation, knowing that that move flank was the bigger threat, and does take it out immediately.
Yeah, it is interesting how like he decided to go for the move flank. The one shot was really good for the 𝗵𝗵, but at the same time, I don't know if 𝗵𝗵 wants like this 𝗧𝗏𝗺 is with not much health right now, and the Mud Shower is coming, so a swap here and get free damage on the 𝗏𝗏𝗃 seems kind of tricky. But at the same time, do you want to get this damage on 𝗏𝗏𝗃? Probably right, because he needs to deal against the Valorant yet.
I think it'll be worth it, right? Because if you preserve the 𝗧𝗏𝗺, but no, 𝗧𝗏𝗺 staying in. He's saying HKS will be more than enough, and it will be faster than Drakash. Of course, I completely forgot about the HKS. Looking to overexert, but is a Noxious Bomb enough? I don't think so with that +1 defense. Yeah, only about half of that, so 12% still remaining. But you know what? Valorant should be able to get off one more Noxious Bomb. So 𝗧𝗏𝗺, I believe that will be his final attack if he wants to stay in, or maybe just his final attack period. Because he's so slow, he might not be able to get off anything before he goes down, right? I think something like a Noxious Bomb, or hey, even a Toxic Ink from this 𝗧𝗏𝗃 should be enough to take it down. So, you know, we were saying earlier that the 𝗧𝗏𝗺 was the difference maker, but 𝗵𝗵 preserving the 𝗏𝗏𝗃 all the way to the very end. Now 𝗏𝗏𝗃 is looking like the big difference maker. That is a whole lot of wind damage onto the 𝗧𝗏𝗃. And that's +2 defense, right? Not +2 special defense. So isn't going to be able to hold off from those 𝗏𝗏𝗃's attacks very well. So yeah, 𝗵𝗵 looking kind of good for game number 1.
Yeah, 𝗧𝗏𝗺 also, like, it has no HP and he's low, but at the same time you have Battle Pass. The problem is that you don't have much time right now to keep swapping, because Pokécrafter basically just have to keep attacking right now. There's not much shenanigans to do, like swaps, right? So yeah, he decided to try to use some Battle Pass for the 𝗧𝗏𝗺, trying to get 10% more HP on it. Some damage is delivered on the Valorant, and it kills the Valorant. And now it'll be interesting, because if this 𝗏𝗏𝗃 is neutrality, it won't get that much damage, and it is very nice because the toxic ticks, the toxic status 1 tick on it.
Yeah, neutrality, probably the preferred trait these days. But hey, something worth pointing out for Pokécrafter, I haven't seen this tech just yet. An Aloe Vera Valorant. I guess I have been seeing more tamers electing to choose aloe vera on their wind Temtems, because usually something like a hand fan is only 10% damage, but aloe vera is 15% damage. But here we go, a big tornado, almost enough to take down the 𝗧𝗃𝗃.
Yeah, that was huge. So this 𝗧𝗃𝗃 won't be able... Oh, okay, the Valorant OS last turn, probably. That's why he didn't act, right? So this Barnship basically will have to handle the Valorant by itself and the 𝗧𝗃𝗃. Because it is healthy, I think 𝗬𝗏 got this first game. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so as well. Here goes the little wind burst to take down the 𝗧𝗃𝗃. And you know, 𝗃𝗃crafter can go for a Noxious Bomb, but I believe this is going to overexert him. This is, as you said, most Valorants have to run a Sweatband because it costs so much stamina for his techniques. And as we saw, it was a little overexertion. So 100%, 𝗬𝗏 will be taking it home. There goes the beta burst to bring him down. And yes, indeed. So GG. 𝗬𝗏 will be indeed taking that game number 1. So congratulations. And hey, GG to 𝗃𝗃crafter. That was decently close though, coming down to the very end. You know, we didn't get to see anything from this 𝗁. Maybe this game might be the one. But I guess 𝗁 not looking too good, right? 𝗂𝗀𝗇𝗃 can do those Oshi dashes onto it. 𝗵𝗶𝗶𝗴
also... Yes, exactly.
Yeah, big.
Maybe 𝗁 is not the best one in this particular game.
Yeah, I agree. Those plagues do some big damage onto it. So let's see who 𝗃𝗃crafter wants to identify. Because, you know, that 𝗧𝗏𝗃 was doing quite a lot. But so I feel like that 𝗃𝗃𝗃 kind of did a lot as well. Because he couldn't really set up the Dracash all that well. But there wasn't really like a true MVP. They all kind of did a part to the success. But okay, taking care of the Nagas nice and early, never a bad idea.
Yeah, you never know if it is a water custodian, right?
So true. And hey, there's no water Temtems on 𝗃𝗃crafter, which I'm impressed, right? Everyone and their mother seems to be running Oceara. At the very least, right? At least one water Temtem. So hey, ode to 𝗃𝗃crafter working with no water Temtems there.
Yeah, like having the Valorant in both of the teams seems really nice. Yeah, Toucan and 𝗵𝗏𝗃 is pretty common on the teams, but Mouflink seems to be something really good. Like everyone gonna run on aggro teams now on.
Oh, and hey, look at this, Zao. It looks like it is 𝗁 time. So, you know...
In my face.
Yeah, right? And hey, I think this is a good one, except this 𝗵𝗏𝗃 just might be coming through to put a damper on that 𝗁 party. Because, you know, Uppercut Plague just might be enough, but I know what 𝗬𝗏 was thinking. He knows that 𝗂𝗀𝗃 only has Uppercut, and 𝗁 has such a big Stone Ball. And that Stone Ball actually has the fire synergy to its side from the 𝗧𝗏𝗃. So it would be able to not only pack such a big punch on the 𝗂𝗀𝗃, but it also adds those ticks of burn for the following turns to mitigate the 30% onto the 𝗂𝗀𝗃. But I don't know if 𝗁's going to be able to get the Stone Ball. What do you think? Does it survive a double up?
I don't think so. But at the same time, as you said, the Stone Ball synergy with 𝗁 seems really good. And yeah, I don't play 𝗁, so I don't know how strong he is, like in defense. But at the same time, the scavenger trait is really good for trades like this, because like if you can kill the other side and you got like your life really low, you can just like get it back, just keeping killing and be placing your team beside death allies, just as 𝗏𝗏𝗃 is played.
Exactly like 𝗏𝗏𝗃. They have the exact same traits. So yeah, a late game monster potentially for this 𝗁. But hey, let's just get into it. 𝗃𝗃crafter, as we said before, looking to make a comeback here in this AAL second game. But 𝗬𝗏 saying, you know what, let's just close things out in a 2-0 fashion. At least that's what he's hoping for. So as we discussed earlier, can this 𝗁 try to hold off from a double? I'm sure 𝗬𝗏 might have calced it. Maybe it lives by like 1 or 2 HP or just somewhere in that red. And a Stone Ball just might be connecting on the 𝗂𝗀𝗃. But man, that might be like too much to ask for the Karin, right? Because it might just go down. I don't know if 𝗵𝗻ever expected against a 𝗂𝗀𝗎 and a big plague from this 𝗵𝗻. So if he wants to play it safe, he could always swap out to the Yggdrasil, which might not be a bad idea. I think that's going to be the safe route to go for 𝗵𝗻, huh?
Yeah, that's what I would do. But like, if Karin stays and can survive this, man, I will try to play some Karin.
So true, guys. Popularized Karin, that is what 𝗵𝗻 has in mind. But you're right, if Karin does survive, that is a huge stone ball. And you know, 𝗂𝗀𝗎 taking it out now, that is one of the electric pressures. And oh, 𝗂𝗀𝗃𝗃crafter actually scared of the stone ball. That is interesting. So putting some and oh, I feel like that uppercut might have killed. So maybe 𝗂𝗀 being a bit too safe there.
Yeah, even so, it did a really decent damage and also make the exhaust status on the Karin, which is huge because look how that stamina going out.
Yeah, and we see here, 𝗂𝗃𝗃crafter not too bad. And you know, I think it might have been close. I think 𝗵𝗻, he stayed in because he was confident it could survive the uppercut. So hey, well read for 𝗂𝗃𝗃crafter, just trusting his gut, knowing that 𝗵𝗻 could live. And you know, that stone ball was directed perfectly into the 𝗂𝗀𝗎. So good read, he absorbs it very well with his Yggdrasil. As we said, he does get those little ember ticks there for this turn, or the previous turn and this turn. So not able to do damage, but the beautiful thing about Yggdrasil, he mainly just relies on those toxic ticks regardless. So he doesn't really pack the biggest punch. But okay, Karin didn't swap out last turn, but it will swap out this turn for the Yggdrasil. And 𝗵𝗻 actually has a double swap in mind here.
Yeah, Valorant and the here is a little tricky because you have an 𝗵𝗻 on the battlefield, but at the same time, we see that this. Do we know the item from the 𝗵𝗻?
Yeah, I think we just saw it, which caught me by surprise. Was that a slingshot? Look at that, Zao. It is a slingshot 𝗵𝗻. I don't believe we ever seen anything like that. So it actually connected on the Yggdrasil, which was 1/4. So hey, nice little +1/+1/+1 defense, special defense, and the speed. So hey, we thought 𝗵𝗻 wasn't fast already. 25% increase. And you know, a bulky 𝗵𝗻 is a scary 𝗵𝗻 because of his trait, the relaxed trait. If you don't attack into it, it does recover 15% of its max HP. And now that it's bulky, it's gonna be a harder time to take it down. So if it gets recovery, that's gonna be a lot more value. But okay, 𝗂𝗃𝗃crafter will save it for down the road and swaps into a little mirror match here.
Very nice using a slingshot and the 𝗵𝗻. So the first turn was basically a free win for the 𝗂𝗃𝗃crafter because the safe move would be the Yggdrasil, and if it was Yggdrasil, it would be buffing the 𝗵𝗻. So yeah, the first turn was basically really safe from 𝗂𝗃𝗃crafter. At the same time, we have to remember that 𝗂𝗃 is really common on the teams right now, and this slingshot on the 𝗵𝗻 can also give buffs if you hit the 𝗂𝗃 with electric attack.
Ah, very true. That is 1/4 damage on the 𝗂𝗃. So yeah, 𝗂𝗃 covering a couple bases here. A lot of Yggdrasils, a lot of 𝗂𝗃s.
Yes.
So solid. I believe it also works on 4x damage. So if you connect onto 𝗬𝗎𝗄 or something of the like, it does the exact same thing. But you know, nice bark shield for 𝗂𝗃𝗃crafter. Now +2 defense, 100% increase on those defenses of the Valorant. And we do know this is indeed an anaerobic Valorant. So now that it has defense, once it's able to stack up those special defense with its anaerobic trait, it might just be a bit too unstoppable, right? I mean, 𝗵𝗻 has that scary 𝗧𝗲𝗺 in the back, but with a couple special defenses procs, let's say something like double damage or, you know, double defenses like +2 special defense, that should be enough to hold on from at least 1 or 2 Thunder Strikes. So yeah, we'll see. This might be a little win condition for 𝗂𝗃𝗃crafter.
Last turn we saw, in last game we saw that the Valorant with 2 special defense, he was able to get 3 hits from the 𝗧𝗲𝗺. And at the same time we saw that this Valorant uses aloe vera. So the 𝗧𝗫 is really scary to stay in this battlefield.
And we'll
At the same time, it is Valorant versus Valorant, so this Valorant also will do a lot of damage on the 𝗬𝗵𝗶 Valorant, since a 𝗧𝗵𝗺 is there. It's not a doppelganger brush, which is pretty common in the last in the 𝗬𝗫 patch, but at the same time, a 𝗧𝗵𝗺 helps a lot on the trade.
Yeah, for sure. I like the little tech from 𝗂𝗀𝗃𝗃crafter, knowing that there's so many toxic Temtems in the meta, and you have that wind coverage for those toxics, so making it pack that much of a punch. And yeah, you're so right, Zao. 𝗬𝗶𝗃𝗃's Bruges Valorant was 100% a staple. No one went without that doppelganger. But alright, the Valorant decides to stay in despite the 𝗧𝗲𝗺𝗺 staring him down. Let's see if it's going to be well worth it. 𝗧𝗲𝗺 goes down to 46%, knocks his bomb, trying to increase that special defense before the Thunder Strike connects. And you know, well done for 𝗂𝗀𝗃𝗃crafter. He does bring it down, but wait a second. Expecting the Valorant to maybe swap out, he goes for a fire tornado for neutral damage.
Maybe expecting an 𝗧𝗫 going there in that spot. Yeah, pretty clever from 𝗂𝗀𝗃crafter to continue just like building the special defense. And I'm pretty sure that if he, actually not sure, but I think he can survive one more turn if he buff himself again. We're about to know.
Oh, that hurts. Whenever you have to double swap out, that is a feels bad man situation. And oh, catching 𝗬𝗵𝗶 with his pants down. That is a free turn. And oh, that hurts.
Yeah, we can see it.
And okay, it looks like 𝗬𝗵𝗶 will be banning the 𝗵𝗶𝗶𝗺 this time. I believe he's been exchanging it, right? Usually he's been banning 𝗬𝗵𝗶, but this time he's banning 𝗵𝗶𝗺. So the plague targets, I'm seeing.
Yeah, probably planning to use the 𝗧𝗫, so don't having the issue with the slingshot seems pretty reasonable. Even 𝗧𝗫 doing a lot of damage on it, like you bring 𝗧𝗫, but you gotta buff. Seems kind of whack, right?
Yeah, I mean, doesn't want to deal with any of that slingshot shenanigans. So fair enough. 𝗵𝗶𝗺 still solid. Those Thunder Strikes into that Valorant, 𝗵𝗺, Plague into the 𝗬𝗃𝗃. So yeah, just a solid ban overall. And hey, maybe just ban it because he wanted to start this 𝗵𝗺 here, and there is no other electric pressure on 𝗂𝗀𝗃 side. But hey, I say that, but 𝗂𝗀𝗄's still there. I can't forget about 𝗂𝗀𝗄. Does 𝗂𝗀 want to start with the 𝗂𝗀𝗄 is the question, because that sparkling bullet does pack a punch. And you know, if you pair that with the neutral Temtem, it increases that base damage by quite a number. I believe it's almost double the amount of damage. But of course, a little risky because 𝗵𝗺 could go for a big beta burst onto that move flank, but might just be worth a trade because sparkling is 4x damage onto 𝗵𝗺. So I think 𝗂𝗀's okay with taking that risk. I wonder if that's what he's considering. Something like 𝗂𝗀𝗄 move flank doesn't feel terrible, but all right, okay, goes for 𝗧𝗃𝗃 instead here.
Yeah, more safety, but at the same time, just as you said, the bullets increase the damage from 60 to 105, if I'm not wrong. And yeah, it would basically one-shot the 𝗵𝗺. I'm really liking the team of 𝗂𝗀𝗃crafter. Like, it looks like he really think out of the box, because we see a lot of Tems using different different items that people are using nowadays. So yeah, really good, well thought team.
Exactly right. Very, very creative. But oh man, 𝗬𝗵𝗶 having the counter pick one more time. So that Cold Geyser threatening out the 𝗧𝗃𝗃. Not that it really wanted to stay in regardless. I believe he just wanted a guaranteed 𝗧𝗃𝗃 for something like that Ragnet. And hey, those Hellfires, Fire Tornadoes for the 𝗧𝗫. So not too bad. But now 𝗬𝗃𝗃, we did see the drill was on 𝗂𝗀𝗄, so there shouldn't be a drill on this Valorant. We saw before it was aloe vera. So 𝗵𝗶𝗺 will be safe, at least for that very first turn. As we saw, the autonomy trait does prevent it from getting attacked with that bamboozle evasion. So again, he has to swamp out. And you know, last time he went for Cold Geyser onto the other spot, but that's going to be half damage onto the Valorant. So maybe this 𝗬𝗃𝗃 if he wants to make the read of 𝗧𝗃 swapping out, maybe he might just be swapping out of his own, huh? Maybe. Unless he keeps it straightforward. I think, as you said earlier, maybe you just go with the green circles, huh?
Yeah, maybe.
I think so.
Like, the problem of swapping 𝗬𝗈 is that you basically lose your evasion, and if 𝗏𝗏crafter keeps the 𝗧𝗃 in the battlefield, you lost a lot of tempo.
Yeah.
That's the problem of this, in my opinion.
Of course, that's where those mind games do come in. But, you know, with that bamboozle there, I think 𝗬𝗈 is safe, right? I mean, you either knock out the 𝗧𝗃, even though 𝗧𝗃 is most likely faster than you, so something like a Noxious Bomb should be able to connect. But that's a trade you're willing to take. If 𝗧𝗃 wants to stay in to simply pop a bamboozle, 𝗬𝗈 with those big cold geysers will be more than happy to take it all the way down. So looking at this scoreboard, it looks like only something like that 𝗏𝗶/𝗵𝗆 would be the only appropriate bans to try to eat that water damage. But I'm guessing 𝗏𝗶 has to be the pick because of that nature damage on the following turn, right? That's 4 eggs damage onto the 𝗬𝗈. So that just might be the line of play 𝗏𝗏crafter is seeing. How does 𝗬𝗏man want to respond might just be the question he is considering.
Yeah, even so, if you double up in that spot and you swap for 𝗏𝗶, 𝗏𝗶 will get like less than 50% HP left for the next turn, so it seems like a really good trade in my opinion. The problem is that like leaving a Valorant free hitting you and building the special defense, maybe it's not something that I really want. Okay, actually you only have 𝗏𝗠𝗀 as a special attacker on 𝗬𝗏man, so yeah, maybe be more offensive as 𝗬𝗏man. Attacking the slot on the right slot would be a good move.
Yeah, I agree. You know, thinking a little further ahead, you do got that tornado on turn 2. So, taking your advice, Zao, he does go aggressive wind burst onto the 𝗏𝗶, and it's a cold geyser just in case your cash stayed in. Actually packed a decent punch there, down to 35%. And you know, that is low enough HP so that a single tornado should take it down. This is the question though, who is faster, right? I believe 𝗏𝗠𝗀 is naturally faster now with that increase in speed recently. So I think that tornado from the 𝗏𝗠𝗀 will be able to outspeed. If 𝗬𝗏man is a little bit scared about it, he can always play it safe and switch out the 𝗬𝗈. But might not have to. But at the same time, 𝗬𝗈 isn't really doing too much. But 𝗬𝗈 stays in.
Expecting the tornado was gonna act first, so he just decided to keep 𝗬𝗈, and let's see what 𝗬𝗈 can do against Valorant. So some special defense be built and a decent damage deliver on the 𝗏𝗠𝗀, to be fair. And here's the cold geyser now on the Valorant, and that's not super effective. It's not effective, to be fair, and yeah. But even so, like, doing 22% on the Valorant free damage seems good.
Yeah, not too bad. As you mentioned before, it's generally a good tempo type game, right? So when it's nice and early in these matches, like turn 2, turn 3, just having a little chip damage here and there will make a difference by the end. You know, there's no revitalized targets. I mean, 𝗬𝗏man has that Ninja Soul for little spores, but 𝗏𝗏crafter has no ability to heal, so little damage will go a long way because you can't heal, right? So, you know, one attack like this should make a difference in the late game, but we'll see. Now 𝗵𝗆flank boldly comes in despite having this 𝗏𝗠𝗀. Wait a second.
Imagine if he swapped all the 𝗏𝗠𝗀 and brings the Ragnet and use the 𝗏𝗏breaker on the Valorant shot in it.
Yeah, that's a physical attack too, right? Valorant might just go all the way down. This might just be really spicy from 𝗬𝗏man. You know, it's not every day we get an 𝗏𝗏breaker with the synergy on top of that. So, man, I'm actually rooting for that, Zao. Can we get an 𝗏𝗏breaker here today? Oh, wait a second. Wait a second. Oh, it's a Ninja Soul instead.
Oh, I was so confident. Damn. But okay. A double swap. Okay. It's saving the 𝗏𝗠𝗀 for later.
Yeah, I think he was scared. Something like this base jump Noxious Bomb might have just been able to take it out. Without that strange vest, 𝗬𝗀𝗀𝗃's just a bit too flimsy, right? Even with that base jump being half effective, it still would have done enough. Looking at how much that Noxious Bomb did the first time, I'm pretty sure base jump Noxious Bomb would have taken it out regardless of being resistant. So hey, good swap out, but oh, it came at a big cost. That is almost 60% out the door for the 𝗧𝗏𝗃. So, you know, another double up like that will indeed take it out. So, oh man, I know 𝗏𝗵 wanted to get that narco hit, but it might just be too slow here.
Yeah, not only this, but at the same time, you got a free unnoticed buff, and at the same time, you also give one more special defense buff for the Valorant. So, if you want to handle this Valorant later with the 𝗬𝗀𝗀𝗃, that would be a problem. Probably that's not the plan from 𝗏𝗵, but even so, yeah, this repositioning was a little bad for 𝗏𝗵 in my opinion.
Alright, so 𝗏𝗀 doesn't want to gun down that 𝗧𝗏𝗃 just yet. Instead goes for the Ragnet. And oh, allergic spread, catching the 𝗧𝗏𝗃 on the entry. But hey, 𝗏𝗵 with a solid read. He didn't go for an electric punch on the Valorant like most people would think. He tried to make the read on that play and does get the 𝗧𝗏𝗃 swapping in. So good swap for 𝗏𝗀. Trying to expect the E punch, but this is just why 𝗏𝗵 is such a really bright player. Always thinking of the potential swap-ins. And yeah, get some good chip damage on 𝗧𝗏𝗃. And more importantly, those toxic ticks will start adding up. 2 toxic ticks is 25%, right? So that is a lot of damage. 𝗧𝗏𝗃 is basically at only 25% right now. So any attack like a narcoleptic hit, or I don't think a toxicing would do it, but any attack that does half right now should make that 𝗧𝗏𝗃 go all the way down. All right, a little base jump onto the Vola there.
Yeah. Not only this, but in the last turn, we had the Valorant in the battlefield, and the Valorant didn't know X last turn, so leaving the 𝗧𝗏𝗃 on the battlefield was really confident.
Yeah, you know, that was maybe 𝗏𝗀crafter trying to make a read of his own, saying, you know what, 𝗏𝗵 is not going to leave this 𝗧𝗏𝗃. It's on his way out. As you said, I can Feather Gatling goring it, and he won't be able to do anything. So I think 𝗏𝗀 was just confident it was going to swap out to something like the 𝗬𝗏𝗀, perhaps. But yeah, I'm not too sure. I mean, he still could have got some good damage on 𝗬𝗀𝗀. But we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see what they do now. It looks like the 𝗧𝗏𝗃 does not have an energy drink, so it does go to sleep here.
Yeah. And we see the heater down. Okay, the 𝗧𝗏𝗃, what did it act before the Valorant? Sorry, before the we saw the snare proc, but I didn't pay attention what it is snared.
Oh yeah, let's take a look when we see the scoreboard. So no, I think it was Magneto, right? Magneto did the P jab first, and then it was the allergic spread. So it looks like the chamomile is no longer here in this game. But all right, 𝗬𝗀𝗀 is loving this board right now. He has 2 fire Temtems to deal with, and if you look, I mean, Valorant could swap out, but you can't swap out both Temtems. So who are you gonna pick? And you know, 𝗏𝗏𝗀 is nice and healthy, so that is the straightforward approach. But that means that's just the one that's likely to swap out. So maybe you just deal with 𝗧𝗏𝗃 now.
Yeah, both of them would be really good to deal with. Even so, a Valorant coming to tank the damage would be also good. But the problem is that you have to guess which one is the you want to tank, right?
Yeah, as I said, I think that preserving that 𝗏𝗏𝗀's HP probably a bit more reasonable. But maybe that's just in the mind game, right? 𝗏𝗵 thinking about that, maybe goes after 𝗧𝗏𝗃 instead. Or actually, wait, no, the other way around. Maybe 𝗏𝗵 thinking about that, goes for 𝗧𝗏𝗃, and then 𝗏𝗀crafter is able to swap out the Valorant for 𝗧𝗏𝗃 and keep in the 𝗏𝗏𝗀 without getting some cold geyser damage. Maybe that's what he's thinking. But either way,
hard to predict.
Yeah, a little hard to predict here. But either way, I think 𝗏𝗵 is looking very solid from this position. He has answers to a lot of 𝗏𝗀crafter's remaining team. Except that bird, I think the Valorant could be the difference maker. But here we go. 𝗧𝗃 does indeed swap out. So the Tokon stayed in. Did Pokecrafter, or no, did 𝗬𝗵 keep it straightforward? Where did this Cold Geyser go?
Oh, it went for the token, and that's gonna be a lot of damage. It didn't kill, but even so, like, how much it was? 95%? Yeah, 95%.
Yeah, huge.
Oh my god.
𝗬𝗃 packing such a punch with that War Drum, guys. 𝗬𝗃 underrepresented, underestimated, and hey, underrated, right? So hey, get your 𝗬𝗃s while you can. 𝗬𝗵 is making him look very, very strong. And yeah, look at that HP differential here. Compared these two tamers. Pokecrafter's 3 Temtems already in the red HP, so it's virtually one final Temtem versus 𝗬𝗵's 3 Temtems.
And all of them is kind of healthy, but at the same time, that was a lot of damage on the Ragnet. And is it a kill on the Ragnet? No, it is not. But even so, this Valorant is starting to be really strong.
Oh,
even so, whoa, that was huge.
Yeah.
Because the nullified just make the 𝗬𝗃 being able to attack Valorant properly.
Huge.
And yeah, that's a lot of damage. And yeah, basically, I won't say that's game, but it seems so, right?
No, you can say I believe it will be game. Look at the HP. I mean,
yeah.
𝗬𝗃, there's no 2 attacks that take it down, so 𝗬𝗃 alone will be taking it. So ladies and gents, that will be GG. 𝗬𝗵 will be the victor of that matchup. And hey, Pokecrafter was right on 𝗬𝗃 squad.
The flex is real? Yeah. I didn't know that he had already the 𝗧𝗵𝗺. The other 3 ones, yeah, I know that he played this, but yeah, man, that's really good.
Yeah, and Zhao, give me 1 second. I forgot I still had the music on my scene. So it was doubling up there. So I hope it's still there, right? Okay, but yeah, as you said, flex alert, Tico, 4 Lumas. And you know, if they're bringing it into a competitive setting such as the AAL, I would imagine they're all perfect, right? Or close to perfect, like 6 out of 7.
The 𝗵𝗺, Valorant, and the 𝗬𝗺, I'm 100% sure it is perfect. The only one that is new that I didn't see yet, it was 𝗬𝗁. Either way, we have the 3 core fire temps and some 𝗂𝗶𝗆 lovers in the chat, because we see a 𝗂𝗶𝗆 here.
Yeah.
And that's not popular nowadays.
Yeah, if 𝗧𝗍 were here, she'd be spamming her Catfire emotes. But we'll see. Catfire still a strong Temtem. Maybe hands down the best 𝗧𝗏𝗇 now now that Firecoish no longer has 𝗧𝗏𝗇. And we do see that one neutral Temtem, the 𝗬𝗺, the Luma Momo at that, is a good pairing for him. But let's see. How does he want to get started? Looks like the golden, or maybe not too golden, but the Luma 𝗧𝗏𝗺 will get the ban there. But okay, another Luma gets picked up, and it will be that beautiful Valorant for the side of Tiku.
Ban the Lumas. Ban the Lumas.
Yeah, you know, too much of a flex here. You know, we haven't seen a Luma Momo, or hey, even a Momo in quite some time. He's still a good Temtem though, has some big undermines. I really like his 3 prio moves. Things like willpower drain, especially with stamina costing so much these days. Always a good idea. And then of course Bark, right? Bark always goes first. That means your ally Temtem could take advantage of that minus defense, the -1 special defense. So hey, Momo, not to be underestimated by any means, but hey, when you're staring against the Nagas, maybe not the best idea. So let's see what Tiku has to answer this. Because you know, Naga's looking really strong against his team. I guess the other Luma though, 𝗵𝗺 looks okay though.
Yeah, the problem of... Okay, yeah, I agree with you. 𝗵𝗺 would be a really good answer. But as you were saying about Momo, you also have Refresh as a new move set for Momo. And on some stall teams, Momo is being really good. Like, you give time for it to build it up, and you can get some refresh. The willpower drain is really strong in the patch that we are playing right now. So yeah, it is not something to be underestimated. But at the same time, you have the Nagais there. Yeah, it's not the best friend for a Momo, right? Yeah,
not whatsoever. So we'll see who he wants to answer, because I mean,
Amphitheater, I think, is the best one.
yeah, I agree with you as well. And hey, 2 Lumas. Tiku starting off with the insane flex, man. 2 Lumas. Usually we get 1 Luma in the opener, but never 2 Lumas, right?
Yeah.
Tiku's doing a never before done here. So not too bad. Having that counter pick looking so good because he has the Voloran for the Amphitheater and the Amphitheater for the Nagas. At the same time, though, a big Thunderstrike from 𝗬𝗵𝗶 Amphitheater is no joke onto the Voloran, right?
Yeah, and since like Tiku got the Toucan ban, Voloran is really has a lot of value for Tiku, since if you see the rest of the picks, you have Kinu, you have Nidrasil, and also Mushuk, and all of them would be really good to use the Voloran. So yeah, this Voloran, in my opinion, will leave the board turn 1.
Ah, you think so? Wait, how come? You think because the Thunderstrike is just a little bit too much damage?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Like the Amphitheater by itself will already threaten the Nagais, and like especially if he picks the Nidrasil as the last pick, Voloran has a lot of value to like lose HP on a board that it's not supposed for the Voloran handle.
Okay.
You see.
Yeah, one little counterpoint is, in the 𝗬𝗺, at least Voloran should go first. So at the very least, if this is an anaerobic Voloran, it should at least get that +1 special defense. But hey, I agree. You don't want to get that Voloran too damaged just yet, because it is a solid answer to a lot of the teams. Like that Mushuk can hold off against the 𝗬𝗵𝗆 as well. But hey, we will be finding out very shortly here. So guys, we are ready to roll. This is game number 1. Tiku versus 𝗬𝗵𝗆chan, and Tiku, look at the flex, double Lumas to get us started. That is insane, super insane. But hey, the Lumas don't decide at all. It depends on that playmaking ability, and we know 𝗬𝗵𝗆chan, one of the best playmakers in the entire Temtem game. So let's see how he plays this out. You thought Voloran swapping out here. Who do you think he might swap into? You're thinking that 𝗬𝗫𝗃 perhaps, huh?
𝗬𝗫𝗃 can be a good one, since probably it is a mirroring 𝗬𝗫𝗃, so it would be like free damage on the Amphitheater. But let's see. Because the Nidrasil was not peak, so maybe he wants to keep the Voloran there. And he kept the Voloran actually, and a free damage on the Amphitheater, and that's a huge damage to be fair. We see a Thunderstrike being hitting the Voloran, and it brings down to 58%. Okay.
Wow. So,
and the electric attack on the Nagais, yeah, guaranteeing that if Nagai stays, it would get 1 shot.
Yeah, exactly right. So hey, not too bad. Voloran, as we mentioned, does take advantage of the 𝗬𝗺, so manages to go first, getting that +1 special defense before the Thunderstrike connected. But man, it looks like a really bulky, of course, it was +1 special defense, so it doesn't even go down to 50%. And as you saw, that was 70% on the Amphitheater. Oh man. So one more of those will take it down. Can this Mushuk maybe do the remaining damage? Because 1 Thunderstrike will do the exact same damage. So what was it? 42% it looks like. So can Mushuk do the remaining? Something like a neutral wastewater. I wonder if that's a waste though, because you could have done it on the Amphitheater as well. No?
Yeah, the problem is that you have 𝗬𝗫𝗃 to handle Amphitheater later, and probably you want to use Voloran to handle the Mushuk, right? So trading Amphitheater for Voloran, it doesn't seem like something really good for Tiku. But yeah, would be, especially because you're losing your sweatband user.
Yeah, so hey, you're thinking maybe swapping out this time, but oh, it's actually the Amphitheater expecting something like the wastewater coming in. But hey, Luma for Luma, look at that. 𝗬𝗵𝗆 making its appearance here in game number 1, but it will be a double swap for Tiku, so very sharp Tiku plays here. Let's see what 𝗬𝗵𝗆 decides to do. Thunderstrike, most likely on that Voloran spot. And wow, it's did incredibly well. And if this is a mirroring, it might go back the other way. Yeah, it is a mirroring. So a little bit of damage on the 𝗵𝗶𝗸. I don't think it overexerted. Did you catch that, Zhao? I don't think the 𝗵𝗶𝗸 overexerted. I think that was the mirroring damage.
No, I think it was the mirroring damage as well. And probably like 𝗬𝗵𝗶𝗴 would call to be able to do 2 Thunder Strikes. So yeah, probably this 𝗵𝗶𝗸 didn't get hit by the didn't OX, but at the same time, 𝗵𝗶𝗸 there is something really interesting on the trade on 𝗵𝗶𝗸, because it's just like move flank, like a double swap in front of 𝗵𝗶𝗸. 𝗵𝗶𝗸 says thank you for you because you're gonna get free HP. Just like move flank with a notice would get a free buff, 𝗵𝗶𝗸 gets 15% back of his life, and that's really good for the 𝗵𝗶𝗸, to be fair.
Yeah, for sure. So hey, getting a little value there for 𝗬𝗵𝗆's 𝗵𝗶𝗸, but now it might just have to swap out because it's so low on that stamina department. One move and he might just kill himself from overexerting so greatly. But okay, Mashuk fearing something like an undermine most likely coming into that Mashuk spot. But all right, swaps into and oh, wait a second, 𝗬𝗵𝗆 does not care about overexerting. Stays in with the 𝗵𝗶𝗸 just to lock up this Momo, it seems like.
Yeah, exactly. And leaving the 𝗵𝗶𝗸 with 10% HP, it basically, the relax is making it worth, right? Because the 𝗵𝗶𝗸 got the 10%, and now relax procs again, just making it to 25%. So yeah, you can swap now the 𝗵𝗶𝗸. Sometimes the green circles, that's the way to play.
Yeah, well, hey, he looks like he was trying to get that Mashuk out of here, expecting the 𝗵𝗶𝗸 to most likely swap out. But hey, it does a good swap for 𝗬𝗵𝗆. It ate the crystal bite, but honestly, what in the world was eating the undermine? So well done for Tiku doubling up. Sometimes the double up is always usually the way to go to guarantee you're covering all your bases there. And 𝗬𝗵𝗆 making his first appearance here in turn 4 and already finding himself a quarter damage. So, another attack, something like a double gash might just be enough to take it down. And we know 𝗬𝗚 is second fastest Temtem in the game, or, tied with a couple other ones for second speed. But still, if 𝗬𝗵𝗆 wants to take down 𝗬𝗚, he has to go for a 𝗏𝗏 Vortex, which means 𝗬𝗚 will indeed be faster. So this is actually looking kind of tricky for 𝗬𝗵𝗆-chan here.
Yeah, that's true. I'm expecting a token to come to the battlefield. The problem is that 𝗵𝗶𝗸 waxed in the last turn, and 𝗬𝗏 doesn't have much health to continue the game. Like, if it says he's gonna die this turn, and I think like Momo, even with the double edge, would be able to guarantee the kill on 𝗬𝗏 if he wanted. Not the ideal because you would get free damage on the 𝗬𝗚s. I think like the green circle right now, it's the way to play, to be fair.
Yeah, so that would be something like a hook kick / double gouge on the 𝗬𝗏. And let's see, 𝗵𝗶𝗸 finally does swap out into this Mashuk, so it will be straightforward. As you said, a little double gash, putting an end to the 𝗬𝗏's time. And oh, okay, Momo just preserving HP, or not HP, but stamina. And hey, that's a good play because Momo doesn't really have any other turn. I mean, he has moves, but it looks like he was just prioritizing saving the stamina. Now that the undermine is back online. Oh, wait a second. Now, the 𝗬𝗏 one more time returns, so favoring 𝗬𝗵𝗆 for this turn because that is a big beta burst coming into the Momo. And Momo nowhere to run, right? He is trapped in. Can a single beta burst take him all the way down, though?
Let's see. Oh, we survive. And at the same time, the 𝗬𝗚's got tenderness. That's huge for a 𝗬𝗚's. But luckily, it has the 𝗂𝗶𝗆, so you can just like reset it. At the same time, this undermine didn't do much damage on the guys, but at the same time, it lowers its special attack for forget. Well, there will not be further.
Yeah, no more the 𝗬𝗏s today. I know the logic behind 𝗬𝗵𝗆's play. He was hoping that -1 attack right there, because usually that's a 33% reduction on 𝗬𝗚's attack. He was hoping that that would mitigate the damage, but man, 𝗬𝗚's just packed such a punch that it was still enough to take down the Nagai. So man, 𝗧𝗵𝗃 running away with this game, looking very, very strong. You know, one Temtem that looks kind of hard to deal with for 𝗧𝗵𝗃 will be this Tokon now that the 𝗵𝗶𝗴 is in the back. But you know, of course, hindsight being 2020, maybe the Mashuk just had to kill the Momo. That way, at least the Undermine wouldn't have gone off. But of course, that's in hindsight. I know what 𝗧𝗵𝗆 was thinking there. He didn't think 𝗬𝗧𝗏 would get the kill after that.
Yeah, but at the same time, like 𝗬𝗬𝗏, what else you want is 𝗬𝗬𝗏? You can just leave 𝗬𝗬𝗏 right now, trying to apply more damage on the battlefield, and if it gets killed, it's okay. The mirroring will do a lot of damage on the token. So maybe a sacrifice on 𝗬𝗬𝗏 here can be a good play.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Just kind of let him go. Expect that fiery soul to connect on 𝗬𝗬𝗏. And as you said, mirroring is so ridiculous. 40% damage back at yourself. So we'll see. But okay, doesn't want to let the 𝗬𝗬𝗏 go just yet. Instead, there we go. And how you say the capreta? That's what you say. That's what we call it.
Capreta. yeah. That's the way the chick calls it. And a bark. Yeah. So just as you said, he's using bark, and that's pretty obvious. Like last turn, he just decided to rest on Momo. It was a perfect turn to buff itself. It had the move, but since it didn't have, so use it right now to bark, and that was really good because now this token gets really vulnerable for the 𝗵𝗶𝗆, right?
Yeah, I think it was almost looking at one Thunderstrike could have been enough, but now absolutely -1 special defense. As we said, 33% reduction on those special defenses. So one Thunderstrike should surely one-shot this Tokon. So maybe 𝗧𝗵𝗆 has to swap in, but wait a second. 𝗧𝗵𝗃 has all his bases covered. He could Thunderstrike and then Embers or 𝗧𝗏𝗺 on the same spot. And 𝗧𝗵𝗆, there is nothing to do, right? Either Tokon goes down or the 𝗵𝗶𝗆 goes down. So wow, 𝗧𝗵𝗃 getting 𝗧𝗵𝗆 in such a tough situation. I don't think he might be able to come out from this deficit. He has the healthy Mashuk though. That could be the difference. But we do got that Volarant in the back line for 𝗧𝗵𝗃 as well. So, oh man, 𝗧𝗵𝗃 looking like he has everything covered and everything going his way for at least game number 1 here.
Yeah, you're right. Like, this game looks like 𝗧𝗃 gonna win. It has the coverage in that spot. But at the same time, Mashuk against Volarant in the end, it has tenderness, so maybe, let's see.
Yeah, maybe indeed, but okay, as we said, 𝗧𝗏𝗺 covering it all, and now there just might be nowhere to run. But okay, wait a second, Wastewater on the 𝗵𝗶𝗆, that means a Fiery Soul. If 𝗧𝗵𝗆 has teched the Fiery Soul 3 priority to go faster than this 𝗵𝗶𝗆, Tokon could be making some bit of a comeback here, because that 3 priority, a lot of tamers do tech it to be faster than something than like a max speed 𝗵𝗶𝗆. Of course, we don't see too many max speeds, but hey, some tamers run it, and oh, the 𝗵𝗶𝗆 is faster, so the 3 prio not able to get the kill. Ouch, that is rough for 𝗧𝗵𝗆.
Well, I don't know if it is only this 𝗵𝗶𝗆 is fast or 𝗧𝗵𝗆's token is not fast enough, but either way, that's impressive. To outspeed a Fire Soul, very good.
Yeah, you know, that could have changed everything. Tokon could have been the MVP. You got the kill on the 𝗵𝗶𝗆. Another Fiery Soul gets the kill on the 𝗬𝗬𝗏. And then, you know, Tokon and Mashuk could try to go toe for toe against the Volarant Catfire, because Catfire was running low on stamina. Maybe Volarant could have still won it at the end. But, you know, a little P-Jab Wastewater, P-Jab Uppercut could have gone a long way. Well, there we see it. 𝗧𝗵𝗆 does see the writing on the walls, and 𝗧𝗃 and the 𝗧𝗏𝗺 first. So, I don't know. It's kind of tough, because if you don't ban 𝗵𝗶𝗆, I guess 𝗧𝗃 could pick up the 𝗧𝗏𝗺 and almost do about the same.
Yeah, that's true. And probably this is a helpful 𝗧𝗏𝗺. So a +1 attack is something that you like. A +1 D-Strike is something that is really strong against 𝗧𝗵𝗆 teams. Especially that 𝗬𝗵𝗶 is not running Ragnet right now, so it can protect Nagais or well, yeah, basically Nagais and Toucan, right?
Oh, and he decides that the 𝗬𝗯𝗃 did a little bit too much in game number 1, so he leaves the double electric. We'll see how that fares. I mean, he does have 𝗬𝗵𝗆 for the 𝗧𝗵𝗺 at the very least, but 𝗬𝗵𝗆 doesn't really answer the 𝗵𝗺 all that much, because 𝗵𝗺 with those plagues, it goes tit for tat, 1 for 1 usually, plague versus DV. Because it is just good neutral damage. But let's see, Tiku. Oh, you know though, Ja. We've never seen a Luma 𝗧𝗵𝗺. So we are going to be honored to see it here today. And as you mentioned, it's significantly strong. Has those fire tornadoes for the 𝗵𝗺 and the Yggdrasil. And then has those thunder strikes for the Toucan, Nagais. And hey, even a little Kiinu doesn't want to take either of those attacks. So, man, this is going to be a big 𝗧𝗵𝗺 into 𝗬𝗵𝗆. But let's see. I mean, he can't stay around for too long, right? A Plague into a Dust Vortex. Plague traps it in, and DV takes it down.
Yeah. 𝗬𝗵𝗆 now is going more using the Kiinu on its advantage to try to make a bulky here. Because you want to make this 𝗬𝗵𝗆 last to be able to handle the 𝗧𝗵𝗺. Just as you said, 𝗧𝗵𝗺 seems really strong against the whole 𝗬𝗵𝗆 teams, basically. But at the same time, banning the 𝗵𝗺, yeah, it is good, to be fair, because you would protect your Toucan.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, he, as you mentioned, does get that little buff onto the 𝗬𝗵𝗆, and 𝗬𝗵𝗆 not too bad into the squad, right? That Catfire doesn't want to deal with those Dust Vortex. Plague onto Naga is always a good solid thing. And, you know, overexerting things like the Momo and that Volrin could be a way to success for 𝗬𝗵𝗆-chan. But this is a bit of a lower tempo lead. Always when you start with Kiinu, you don't get too many offensive pressures, so you virtually only have one Temtem to put the pressure. And funny enough, I mean, Kiinu probably doesn't want to stay in, so Toucan can maybe just go for a Fiery Soul in that spot. And now with that Mushuk ban, there's only one Temtem that wants to come in, and that's that Nagais if it does get picked up. So maybe Tiku could double coverage one more time. Fiery Soul, Thunderstrike on that same spot. He might lose the 𝗧𝗵𝗺 though if he stays in, so that is a risk Tiku might have to take. I wonder if he takes it though.
Talking about the ban, I think 𝗵𝗺 is a good ban for 𝗬𝗵𝗆-chan. Even having the Yggdrasil there, banning another electric source would be good in my opinion. But okay, 𝗂𝗫𝗄. Yeah, 𝗂𝗫𝗄 is strong against two of the disposal attempts that 𝗬𝗵𝗆 have.
Yeah,
sorry.
I can see it. Yeah, Catfire with those Quetzalenios did do a lot. I did see an argument for 𝗵𝗺, as you mentioned, since it does put a hamper on that Toucan and the Nagais. But hey, it looks like he wanted to preserve that 𝗵𝗺 and the Yggdrasil a bit more importantly. So fair enough. Let's see if it works out for the side of Tiku. Or does 𝗬𝗵𝗆 already have the game plan in mind? He does pick up that Toucan. And oh man, Toucan doesn't feel, for some reason, you know, we don't hear that too often where Toucan doesn't feel that great. But for some reason against Tiku's current lineup, it just doesn't feel all that effective. I mean, some good neutral damage on Volrin and Momo. But man, I feel like those undermines and little things like Noxious Bomb, and of course, Volrin being anaerobic, as soon as it starts getting a little Noxious Bombs, it's going to be rather protected. But let's see, can 𝗬𝗵𝗆-chan bring things back and head into something like a Game 3 situation? Or does Tiku just know how to play against 𝗬𝗵𝗆's current team in week number 2? Let's go ahead and find out. A little protected buff on this 𝗬𝗵𝗆, of course.
So talking about flex, now is the time to flex, because if you take a look at the Tico teams, it's only one team that is not Luma.
Yeah, sheesh indeed, man. Hey, someone give Toucan, someone give Tiku a Luma Toucan, and he will have a full Luma squad. You know, I think this is the never before done. How in the world are 4 of the 5 Temtems recruited on the squad are Lumas? That is impressive. Tiku has to be the ultimate flexer. And to make it even a little cherry on the top, he also has the Alpha hat. So hey, Tiku is just flexing on another level, apparently.
Not only flexing, but also winning. He got the first game, so that's really something.
Very true. Maybe a little bit messing with 𝗬𝗵𝗶𝗆's head there. Too much glow, right? Too much shine. Yeah. But in all seriousness,
bring your sunglasses.
Yeah, that's what 𝗬𝗵𝗆 needed for game 1. But hey, in all seriousness, the heater trait does mitigate some damage from the 𝗬𝗶𝗆. But we do know 𝗬𝗶𝗆's not doing too much on this turn 1. The most he can do is just trap in that 𝗧𝗲𝗺 if Tiku wants to leave it in. But something's telling me that he might not be leaving it in. I feel like something like that 𝗬𝗵 to try to come in doesn't feel all that bad. You don't take too much from a Plague. You don't take too much from a Dust Vortex turn 2. And on the other side, you can start a little Noxious Bomb here and there to get that special defense up. I feel like that's a good line of play for Tiku. And
to be fair, yeah, I agree with you. And also, you make the Battle Pass on the 𝗧𝗵𝗺 more valuable doing such a move.
Yeah, very true. So every time he comes in, that Baton Pass, bringing it up 10%. Not too bad. So for 𝗬𝗵𝗆, if he wants to read the 𝗧𝗵𝗺 coming out, I guess a good line of play could be to Plague the 𝗃𝗀. You keep the 𝗃𝗀 sit. And then what if you bring 𝗵𝗺 in for the Kinu so you can try to get off a big Thunder Strike? But I don't know. The question is 𝗬𝗵𝗆's 𝗵𝗺 faster than that 3-prio 𝗃𝗀, right? Because 𝗃𝗀 might pack a big punch onto 𝗵𝗺 as well. So could be risky.
Yeah, that's something that we don't know. We know the difference of the speed again, like tokens from 𝗬𝗵𝗆's token and Tiku's 𝗵𝗺. We saw that 𝗵𝗺 wins, but now the opposite way, we don't know yet.
Alright, so 𝗃𝗀 will be swapping out to... No, Kinu will be swapping out to the 𝗃𝗀. And yeah, Tiku not playing the safer game. Does swap out that 𝗧𝗵𝗺 for the 𝗵𝗺, expecting that Plague. Let's see a 𝗬𝗵𝗆 Plague, but no, of course, the first turn 1 is just a simple Lifeful Sap. Of course. Awesome turn for 𝗬𝗵𝗆.
Yeah. Even so, you lost some tempo by doing it. The token of 𝗬𝗵𝗆 got some heavy damage, and not heavy damage, but like a quarter of AGP coming from a Fire Soul. It's something, to be fair. And also, you have the 𝗵𝗺 now on the battlefield. This 𝗵𝗺 is really threatening token, and you know that this 𝗵𝗺 gonna act before 𝗬𝗵𝗆's token. So swap is expected here.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think something like that Ninja Soul doesn't feel all that bad. But you know, if Tiku wants to read that, I guess the Fiery Soul into that spot, because you know he technically Fiery Soul the Kinu and it caught the 𝗃𝗀. So that's something 𝗬𝗵𝗆 has to be careful and keep that in mind, because Ninja Soul will eat that Thunder Strike, but there's really no Temtem in the back that can eat a Fiery Soul. Wait a second. So hey, Kinu comes in. NK, if there's any Temtem that you're willing to let go, it will be this Kinu. So I think this is the best way to go for 𝗬𝗵𝗆.
Yeah, expecting a sacrifice, but it needs to survive for this coming Fire Soul. And it does survive, so a sacrifice is coming, and of course, the Kinu with the reactive vibe is something that we often see in the tournaments nowadays, and it's pretty decent for Kinu, guaranteeing that in the next turn, it'll be able to sacrifice for the 𝗬𝗆.
Yeah, we'll see. Of course, it is a 3-prio technique, and so is the 𝗃𝗀. So both of these Temtems have a 3-prio technique. So this is the question: can Kinu at least get off the sacrifice? Because if 𝗃𝗀 is faster than this current Kinu, then Fiery Soul is going to be putting it down before the sacrifice comes out. But you know, that might just be a game-winning play for 𝗬𝗵𝗆 if he's able to get this sacrifice on the 𝗬𝗆. I mean, 𝗬𝗆's looking like a really, really good MVP, especially considering that Lifeful Sap is already on it. So +3 defense, +3 special defense. You can't get much better than that. And oh, on top of all of that, that's a sweatband 𝗬𝗆. So back-to-back pressure every single turn. So man, he needs the sacrifice. But you know, looking at Tiku's squad, I feel like he just has fast Temtems. It wouldn't surprise me to see this 𝗃𝗀 outspeed, honestly.
you can use the 𝗵𝗶𝗸 also plaguing on the Kinu, since Kinu is
Ah.
nullified, to do some decent damage as well on the Kinu. 𝗵𝗶𝗸 outspeeding Kinu, okay. Toucan, yeah, I think it can also. Just as you said, Tico is playing more aggressive, and some of these stamps is really based on speed, right? So yeah, and I completely agree with your when we talk about the sweatband on 𝗏𝗶, yeah, that's something that you really want to have +3/+3 on your bulky with the sweatband. Yes.
Yeah, we'll see. It looks like these guys made their decisions, or perhaps not just yet. But yeah, you're so right. The nullify from the reactive vial makes it very reasonable for the 𝗵𝗶𝗸 to simply go for a plague. But alright, Tokon will be swapping out to Momo, finding a good opportunity to get that Undermine online. But oh, the Thunder Strike, even without being 3 priority, is still faster than this Kinu. Jesus, man. Yeah.
Oh my god,
indeed.
that's a really speedy 𝗵𝗶𝗸.
You know, it might just be close to max speed, because that 𝗵𝗶𝗸 is popping off for Tiku. Very, very fast speed. We have to look back on some of the calcs there, but in order to outspeed a 3 priority Kinu, is definitely something. It's not too lightly there, so super, super speedy there. And yeah, that is a bit of a feels bad situation. The 𝗏𝗶𝗸, at least he got 1 protector proc. Is that enough though? Is that enough is the question. Tiku preserving that Tokon, knowing that he does so much damage into that Hydra, into the 𝗵𝗶𝗸. Oh man, looking a bit rough, but let's see, can 𝗬𝗵𝗆 bring things around? He does have Ninjasil now on the board, so a good solid Toxic Ink into the 𝗵𝗶𝗸, looking kind of nice there.
Yeah, but at the same time, now you have Momo with Undermine, Lock and Load, and if you Undermine the right spot, the 𝗏𝗶𝗸 spot, no matter what survives from the Undermine, you're gonna get -1 special attack, and that can be something really huge for Tsubaki. I mean, for Tiku.
Yeah, for sure. Especially if it catches the 𝗏𝗶𝗸 that most likely could stay in. And yeah, -1 special attack. That means those Dust Vortex won't be connecting as they usually do. Those Plagues won't be connecting as they usually do. So yeah, I kind of like that play. Special or Undermine onto that 𝗏𝗶𝗸 spot. Because you know, Ninjasil is the only physical attacker left on Tsubaki-chan's side. And that's already on the board, right? So he doesn't have it to be swapped into. So it's just almost looking like a free Undermine in that spot. But okay, Tiku swapping out the 𝗵𝗶𝗸, expecting something like a Toxic Ink coming into it.
And the Undermine, okay, he decided to go for the Valorant, and actually that's also a really good move, because delivering 60% damage on a, actually 61% damage on the Hydra is a lot of damage, to be fair.
And Tsubaki almost able to take down the Momo. That would have been clutch though, because now Momo can maybe get off one of those 3 prio techniques. And that's a little value for Tiku, right? Something like a Bark before going out. Something like a Willpower Drain before going out. If he would have gone down there, that could have been a bit of an upside for Tsubaki. But holding off, Momo has too much special defense here.
Yeah. Bark seems a really good move, using on the 𝗏𝗶𝗸, making this 𝗏𝗶𝗸 back to normal, not the bulky. Like, it is still pretty decent, like tanking, but it's not +1/+1. So yeah, Bark seems like a really good. The other move would be Willpower Drain, but like Willpower Drain on what, to be fair? Fearing the Bark, we see a swap here, making, yeah, here's the Bark, and 𝗵𝗶𝗸 now is really squishy.
Yeah, I wonder just how squishy. Do you think squishy enough for a single Noxious Bomb? That would be an ouchers. I'm wondering if it's so.
It can be, and like another thing is that this Toxic Tick on the Momo prevents another Undermine, but at the same time it gives the opportunity for Toucan comes freely to the battlefield. And Toucan coming to this battlefield is something that can be really good, because doubling the spot of 𝗵𝗶𝗸 or even splitting damage, it's really decent.
Yeah, for sure. And hey, I believe Noxious Bomb base power a bit stronger, so maybe that might be the way to go against the 𝗵𝗶𝗸. But as you said, expecting the 𝗂𝗀𝗺, he does bring in the 𝗬𝗶𝗴. But no, it's not the 𝗂𝗀𝗺. Instead, it will be that beautiful 𝗬𝗵𝗶 just to try to get some good damage, potentially on just to the 𝗬𝗶𝗴. Something like a Plague, little by little, could take it down. But 𝗧𝗵𝗆 has to be careful, as we said. Now that it's at -1 defense, one Noxious Bomb, if it doesn't kill it, it's definitely doing something like 80%. But wait a second, Zao. Didn't we see one Noxious Bomb earlier do 70%? I feel like we saw something like that.
Damn. My memory betrays me. I don't know.
Yeah, something. I'm just recalling vaguely, though. I feel like one Noxious Bomb did an incredible amount. But if that was so, then 𝗬𝗵𝗶 just might be on his way out. That's if he stays in, but at the very least, 𝗧𝗵𝗆 could go out swinging a big Thunder Strike. He should be able to outspeed. But there we go, Thunder Strike on the side of Tiku's side. Will be catching the 𝗬𝗵𝗆 a little bit under, just a little bit over 10%. And there he goes, Thunder Strike onto the 𝗬𝗺. But let's see what the 𝗬𝗺 wanted to do. Did he read the swap, or did he keep it straightforward with the Noxious Bomb?
Okay, the Plague is also delivered. That's a lot of damage, and we're gonna see now the Noxious Bomb. Yeah, it is the Noxious Bomb being delivered in the right spot, and it did one shot just as you expected. Wow, that bark.
Yeah, bark. And of course, he was at 88, so he wasn't at 100. So maybe that little Thunder Strike was perfectly enough to take it down. But oh man, things are not looking too good for our 𝗧𝗵𝗆chan here. Last two Temtems, and look at Tiku's lineup. He has so much to choose from. A 𝗧𝗲𝗺, 𝗂𝗀𝗺, 𝗬𝗺, and 𝗬𝗺 remaining. So 𝗧𝗵𝗆chan definitely on the back burner. Fortunately for him, he does have a good stamina. He does have some HP, some good HP. But Tiku has answers for these Temtems. As we saw, a big Thunder Strike plus another double up from this 𝗬𝗺 most likely takes out this 𝗂𝗀𝗺, and then it just might be 𝗬𝗶𝗴 versus the world, and that's a bit too much Temtems, I want to say. But it is a sweatband +1/+1 𝗬𝗶𝗴, so if there's one Temtem on 𝗧𝗵𝗆's team that can try to do it, it just might be 𝗬𝗶𝗴. You know, does Vortex connects neutrally or effective into the majority of Tiku's team? So maybe there's a glimmer of hope for 𝗧𝗵𝗆chan. I don't want to count him out just yet.
If I was Tico, I would go for the 𝗬𝗶𝗴, leaving the 𝗧𝗲𝗺 for the 𝗂𝗀𝗺. And also, like, the more you leave 𝗬𝗶𝗴 in the battlefield, the more you give the value for the sweatband. But do you have a decent way to deal against 𝗬𝗶𝗴 now?
Yeah,
that's the problem.
Exactly right. That's what I was thinking. If there's one Temtem that could try to turn things around for 𝗧𝗵𝗆, it has to be that sweatband 𝗬𝗶𝗴. But you're right. I mean, things like a Plague might be the way to go. But okay, just ignoring the 𝗬𝗶𝗴, and jeez, is a single Thunder Strike without any bark is going to be enough to take it all the way down. He does overexert quite a bit. And wait a second, HK, all right.
Was it did? Okay.
15% it goes. And hey, still overexerts without that Plague regardless. But hey, virtually doing no damage onto the 𝗬𝗶𝗴. This is what I mean though, Zao. If there's one Temtem that can get it done, it will be 𝗬𝗶𝗴. Eating up at HK as beautifully, virtually back up to 100%. So, oh man, any believers in the chat? Can 𝗧𝗵𝗆chan get it done? Both of Tiku's Temtems have just overexerted, so this is a free rest turn if he takes it, or at least a free Lifeful Sap if he wants to as well.
Yeah, the good thing is that at least he has the sweatband on his side, and also have the Lifeful Sap to try to get some HP back, but at the same time, yeah, there is some... Oh, that was really good from Tiku, because making it, you basically want to attack the 𝗧𝗪𝗺 spot, right? And spending a DV there, it's huge.
Yeah, huge. Good enough to take it all the way down, but 𝗧𝗵𝗆 just overexerted for that Lifeful Sap. He goes for a Thunder Strike, even though it's 1/4 damage. Damage is damage. Every little tick will be counting. I believe he just brought his 𝗧𝗪𝗺 in here, so now Fire Tornado is 100% online, but so does Vortex. So I don't think Tiku's gonna dare to stay in unless he thinks he can survive. 70%. +1 special defense. I guess it's not impossible to survive. And oh, he goes for it, Zhao.
Oh.
Oh.
And it dies. Damn. Okay. I was expecting it to survive at least one attack, but even so, yeah, that's a little tricky. Like, Valorant now rested, expecting probably a plague or something like this. But the 𝗧𝗵𝗶 is really making things work pretty nice for 𝗧𝗵𝗶.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, look at this. I mean, Tiku started with 4 Temtems, now to 3, and Valorant looking on his way out there. If 𝗬𝗵𝗶 is able to deal with the Valorant, there goes the Plague, bringing it down to about 72. Let's see how much damage this... I think if 𝗬𝗵𝗶 focused the Valorant, I think he should be able to out-heal these other Temtems. Oh, wow. That's going to be a +3 special defense. And oh, the 𝗬𝗵𝗴 rests thinking that he was going to overexert with the 𝗵𝗶𝗺 Plague.
Yeah. But at the same time, you have a 𝗵𝗶𝗺 there, and the 𝗵𝗶𝗺 has the Relax and also the Bright Beam. And it also will always act before 𝗬𝗵𝗴. You can start also buffing yourself using the Spark as well.
Wow, yeah, that is gonna be the way to go most likely, right? Just sparks yourself. But wait, if you keep sparking yourself, that does leave the room open for some Does Vortex action from 𝗬𝗵𝗶. So hey, just as you said, Zhao, it does go for Spark. And 𝗬𝗵𝗶 will be gunning down the Valorant. So one more Plague will take it down. So wait a second, you look at this. 𝗬𝗵𝗶 is barely taking any damage on this 𝗬𝗵𝗴. It's still hanging out about 3/4 of the HP percentage. As we saw, one more Plague takes down the Valorant. And oh, can he get the job done? I think it's a little bit scary though. As you said, Sparks might just be the win condition for Tiku. One more Sparks, and I'm thinking those Plagues are going to be doing something like 30-40% on the 𝗬𝗵𝗴. AKA 2 Plagues will be enough to take it all the way down. So maybe that's what Tiku's considering there.
There is another thing. I don't agree with this. I would just sacrifice Vola and get some more time. But like having Toucan and 𝗵𝗶𝗺 on the board, you can just clear the 𝗧𝗵𝗶 using the Fire Soul and also the Plague. Yeah, Tiku basically just lost 3 HP on the Toucan. Making the 𝗵𝗶𝗺 the way to win, the win condition for Tiku.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, I don't know, that was a bit of a peculiar swap out for the side of Tiku. I think at this point Valorant was just on his way out, so might as well just let it go and bring in a free Tokon for something like a Fiery Soul without taking that big Does Vortex. So hey, good on 𝗬𝗵𝗶, knowing that a DV, if he dared to swap out, could get some big damage on that bird. Well, there we go, man. I almost said it jokingly, thinking that 𝗬𝗵𝗶 could make a comeback, but hey, never ever count out 𝗬𝗵𝗶-chan. But this is a +3 special attack 𝗵𝗶𝗺 now, so this is getting a bit close though.
Okay, that's a free damage and also the burn status, which is good. Okay, it's already +3. Would you continue buffing yourself, or would you start to try to deal against 𝗬𝗵𝗴, especially with using the Toucan Fire Soul with this?
Yeah, I think it's time. I think because 𝗬𝗵𝗴 only has +1 special defense, you don't need that much. You're at 150% increase on those Plagues. I think it is time. Before 𝗬𝗵𝗴 gets any more value, I think you have to go for the aggression. You have to go with the straightforward attacks. Because if you give 𝗬𝗵𝗴 any more time, 𝗧𝗵𝗶𝗺 will start increasing. And then DV's back online, right? Tokon goes down. Valorant goes down to a single Plague. And then 𝗵𝗶𝗺 versus 𝗬𝗵𝗴. I guess Tiku still wins that at the end though, because of the Spark. So maybe Tiku had it right this whole time. And oh, goes for another one. This is outrageous.
Okay, and a Tornado. I would go for Fire Soul again to apply, but okay, it is damage. Damage is damage, and that's it. Okay, now he's saving this Valorant to do some damage. Now is the time. The problem is that how does Valorant gonna act before 𝗬𝗵𝗴? Maybe the 𝗵𝗶𝗸 threatening the 𝗧𝗵𝗴 with the plague. Now is the time.
Yeah, and you know, hey, respect to Tiku. I believe he just wants to one-shot. He doesn't want to two-shot the 𝗧𝗵𝗴. He just wants to one-shot, and that is it. So, hey,
Yeah,
I can respect that from Tiku. He doesn't want to play more games. I believe now, one plague, even though 𝗧𝗵𝗴, as we said, is at that +1 special defense, I'm pretty sure 200% increase on that plague from the 𝗵𝗶𝗸. It should be doing 40%, right? I know 𝗧𝗵𝗺 has a bulkier 𝗧𝗵𝗴, but that is +4 special attack. So, oh, wait a second. The bush going first. What does the 𝗵𝗶𝗸 do? Oh, it rests. Okay. Okay, so hey, reading the bush, but I'm pretty sure 𝗵𝗶𝗸 would have outsped anyways. But either way, 𝗧𝗵𝗺 coming back up to 50%. And oh, he's getting a little bit low on stamina. Even though he has that sweatband to back him up. Stamina is still there, but the plague almost enough, bringing it down to that 8.9 mark. And the notches bomb. 𝗧𝗵𝗺 had to rest. It looks like it will be GG. Tiku playing out of his mind, able to take down a legendary tamer like 𝗧𝗵𝗺chan. So hey, GG indeed. Tiku, great stuff, and you and all your Lumas. So that beautiful Luma potato will be to his side. And all right, little 𝗬𝗧 kind of keeping it classic and straightforward for at least today's meta. You know, if you look at little 𝗬𝗧's team, that is pretty much the meta, right? Like, he has 4 of the S tier Temtems, the Mimic, the Tokon, 𝗬𝗧𝗺, and the 𝗵𝗶𝗸. And the other ones are, you could almost say those are S tier too, man. 𝗲𝗺 and 𝗬𝗧, move flank, and 𝗵𝗂𝗃. Super strong for little 𝗬𝗧.
Yeah, indeed. And banning 𝗬𝗧 was, since it is probably a mirror 𝗬𝗧 with chamomile, that's something strong against basically all the toxic Tems from J-Dragon and also the Toucan. Because, okay, Toucan can do a lot of damage on it, but also get a lot of damage from mirroring, right? So, yeah, I agree with the ban from J-Dragon.
Yeah, and of course, it is resistant to the toxic, right? So we do see 3 toxic Tempters on J-Dragon, so it takes half damage from those toxic techniques, so also a proper ban there. But yeah, I think we saw it in the past, you know, a Fiery Soul does like 80% or even more on a 𝗬𝗧, and of course, just about 50% of that going back on the Tokon. So it's almost like 𝗬𝗧 attacks the Tokon without attacking it, which is so valuable in these matchups. So let's see. It looks like 𝗬𝗧 kind of eyeing this Mimic. We have seen a double 𝗲𝗺 opener, but not recently. But okay, it will be the double win Temtem. So this 𝗬𝗺 not feeling so comfortable. A Windburst Feather Galling might be coming his way. And you don't have any turn 1 water techniques as of right now. So yeah, 𝗬𝗺 might be looking at swapping out unless... No, yeah, I think he might have to swap out. The question is who, though, right? There's not really a great ban in that back line, potentially.
Yeah, not only threatening the 𝗬𝗺, but also saving 2 flying Tems for later. Since you're gonna have Potato and 𝗵𝗂𝗃 available for J-Dragon, having these 2 flying Tems seems pretty good on the turn 1.
Yeah, super good. So good starting lineup. And yeah, 𝗬𝗧 having the counter pick does tend to do that. So we'll see move flank, one of the best neutral Temtems in the current game. At least J-Dragon has a mental in that mix. And 𝗵𝗂𝗃 always such a strong Temtem. Those wastewater staring that 𝗬𝗧𝗺, staring the 𝗵𝗶𝗸 down, saying, you know, little 𝗬𝗧, pick those Temtems up. I have 𝗵𝗂𝗃. But okay, little 𝗬𝗧 playing the same game. 𝗵𝗂𝗃 will be picked up, as well as that 𝗬𝗧𝗺 for things like that Tokon. And you know, it has the AoE as well for the mix, right? Mix gets away with so much murder with that Puppet Master trait, but 𝗬𝗧𝗺 will not have any of that. Things like Tsunami, 𝗧𝗵𝗺's Wrath, those are AoE. So let's see. This is looking like a good game, though. Potato is that final pickup for JD.
Yeah. I don't want to spoil here, but I think J-Dragon seems really comfortable with this opener, to be fair. Even bringing all the toxic Tems here, I see a really offensive play coming from 𝗧𝗵𝗵 right now.
Okay, what are you thinking? You're saying for turn 1, you think he has a good offense. What are you thinking for this opening turn?
Like, the item from 𝗧𝗵𝗵's, yeah, we're about to see, is the reactive vial. So now imagine you trying to handle a bulky bad dragon, let's say like this.
Yeah, wow. Of course, we did see this before. 𝗧𝗵𝗵 and his 𝗂𝗶𝗵 is working with the reactive vial. So man, 𝗧𝗵𝗵 the mad lad does just stay in the face of a double win. And it looks like it's paying off. So now water techniques are online. Things like ice stalactite, things like aqua stone will be going online for this turn 2. That means this Tokon might have to swap out. If not, it will go down to another double up from 𝗧𝗵𝗵. So who does he want to swap into? I mean, he could eat it with Mashuk, but the Tokon on 𝗧𝗵𝗵's side might just be covering that swap out. So this is looking a bit tricky. You know, you were perfectly right, Zao. 𝗧𝗵𝗵 did have a more aggressive opener despite looking otherwise.
Yeah, knowing that there is a reactive vial on Bad Dragon seems really strong. And now you're about to see if he expected this swap from Little Uzi. Oh no, he just clicked the green circles, which is pretty decent in my opinion. Safer play, but at the same time, right now the 𝗬𝗏 now is giving some it's threatening the 2-1, the Toucan. Oh, 2-win. It have now the fire turn, the fire move. It's not 2-win anymore.
Yeah, 2-fire has, but no, Tokon's such a beast in the game. But no, you're actually right. Fire Tornado is online for the Tokon here, but I don't think it's gonna stick around to see what this 𝗬𝗏 has for it. So this is a good question here. Does Little Uzi want to go for that straightforward play, Aquatic Whirlwind onto that bird? Because if 𝗧𝗵𝗵 reads it and just swaps out to one of his toxic Temtems in the back, he eats that AWW really well, and then he just might have to eat the Toxic Ink, but instead goes for this mix. So let's see what Little Uzi did. He went for the Wrath instead of the AWW.
Getting some buff seems pretty decent, especially against Nullify. I'm saying Bad Dragon, but okay, you guys got it. Yeah, but at the same time, 𝗧𝗵𝗵 used the reactive vial proc. The Nullify status pretty, like, really good. Like, used all the stamina along, acting every turn and taking a lot of damage. That was huge from 𝗧𝗵𝗵.
Yeah, I mean, man, we would have never thought that 4 turns into this game, looking at that initial pick and bans, double win Temtems and 𝗂𝗶𝗵 will still be on the board. And not only that, he's done so much work for JD, getting that 𝗬𝗏 close to death. But you know, I really liked Lil Uzi's 𝗧𝗏𝗺𝗺's Wrath there because it took Mix down, but it didn't put Mix into Puppet Master range. So now an Aquatic Whirlwind in that spot will take it down. But I think Little Uzi has to preserve this 𝗬𝗏. He doesn't have any clean answers to that Tokon in the back. One toxic tick remaining on those 𝗬𝗏 won't take it all the way down. So he's safe to retreat it now. The big question though, does 𝗧𝗵𝗵 Mix have Cage? Is he not gonna let this 𝗬𝗏 swap out? Because man, that will be brutal. The 2-win in the back line looking so good, especially if 𝗬𝗏 goes down. So man, do we think a Cage is coming out here just to guarantee the 𝗬𝗏 death?
It can be, but at the same time, why don't you just guarantee the kill on the Mix?
Very true. Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, that's the mind games, right? If Lil Uzi thinks the Cage is coming out, then yes, of course. And no Cage today, so 𝗬𝗏 gets saved for a bit later.
Yeah, and Mix also live, that's why no Cage. Saving Mix for later, okay, seems really decent. Expecting a Water Cutting Lily in that spot, and he still have stamina? I thought it waxed last turn.
Yeah, what in the world? You know, 𝗂𝗶𝗵 doesn't have the greatest stamina, so definitely invested is what 𝗧𝗵𝗵 has on this 𝗂𝗶𝗵. And man, back-to-back turns. This is 5 turns or 4 turns total of doing something on this 𝗂𝗶𝗶. And hey, Tokon... What was that?
Look at the HP. Look at the HP of the flying Thames. Both of them are like almost dead.
Yeah, and some of that was a lot due to the 𝗂𝗶𝗶s. You would never have thought that, which is so insane to see. I completely see what you said early on, Zhao, that this 𝗂𝗂𝗶s will be that game decider, you know, game difference maker for J-Dragon. And, you know, good TVs as well, knowing if nothing attacks into 𝗂𝗂𝗶s, he overexerts and doesn't even go down, so forces little Uzi to take down 𝗂𝗂𝗶s, or else he might be able to get off another attack, right?
Well, I think the name that J-Dragon gave for the 𝗂𝗂𝗶s makes all the sense. It is really a bad dragon. Look how much damage it delivers for free. And right now, just taking the damage with Toucan seems really good from J-Dragon. Very nice move.
Yeah, very nice indeed. As you said, 𝗬𝗟 Tokon all the way close to death. One little tickle will take it down. The same can be said about this 𝗬𝗃𝗃. But man, little Uzi has the perfect target for this 𝗬𝗃𝗃. The Tokon is staring right in front of him. But of course, there is no cage targets for little Uzi. So J-Dragon could just sit back, send back that Tokon, and bring out one of these toxic Temtems to try to eat that aquatic whirlwind. But I guess little Uzi could at least get off a big tornado in that spot. So if it is one of the toxic Temtems, at least a tornado will do some big damage.
It just tornado.
Okay.
So it'll have to be wind burst.
Okay.
But at the same time, if you do this like double move on the right spot, you're basically just giving up one of your Tems from 𝗂𝗂𝗶s. So I think he needs to kill 𝗂𝗂𝗶s.
Yeah, we'll see. Of course, 𝗂𝗂𝗶s is able to move, so it does bring in the Mashuk to try to eat the aquatic whirlwind, and it will be the aquatic whirlwind. So let's see. It shouldn't be doing too much on the Mashuk. 100, actually almost 30%, not too bad. And as you said, the wind burst has to kill the 𝗂𝗂𝗶s. It was the only Temtem able to move. And you know, that was actually a really sharp play for little Uzi, knowing that a swap out was likely coming. Now Tornado will be online, and he could threaten out that Mashuk spot. But all right, Potato will be making his first appearance in this game, number 1 of the series. And doesn't look too bad there.
I love this Luma. It's my favorite Luma so far.
Is it? It is incredible, right? It looks completely different from any other Temtem. Because I don't think there's a Luma that looks like this 𝗧𝗏𝗃, right? It's incredibly unique.
Yeah, indeed it is. Well, now... yeah, this 𝗧𝗏𝗃 here, it can tank a lot of damage, and it didn't proc the trance yet. But at the same time, Mashuk there is also thinking like, do you want to split damage and try to do the maximum damage? Yeah, you want to save the 𝗬𝗃𝗃 for later, but now a cage is pretty obvious coming from the Mashuk, right? So maybe it goes all in no matter what.
Yeah, that could be reasonable if he does want to raid. We thought the cage could potentially be coming out the mix, but maybe not running cage on this mix. So, I mean, just to guarantee that 𝗬𝗃𝗃 going all the way down might just be the play. I wouldn't blame him because, you know, Mashuk probably goes down to a single tornado. So, it might just be like a sacrificial play. Just cage 1-for-1. 𝗬𝗃𝗃 goes down. Mashuk goes down. But that means that Tokon in the back could feel a lot more comfortable. But no cage today. 𝗬𝗃𝗃 does get to swap out, and into this Mashuk he does go.
We see a tornado being hitting the Mashuk. Mashuk still survives with 8%, and it whacks. So now some damage going to be delivered on the Mashuk. An uppercut and a Toxic King. Not effective on the Mashuk. So really well, nice played from little Uzi.
Yeah, good stuff. I mean, he did go down swinging on that tornado. And, you know, I thought that tornado was enough to take it down. But it looks like J-Dragon's Mashuk a bit more bulkier than we're used to seeing. You know, back in the day, it used to be max HP, max special defense, and a little bit attack. But now that tireless kind of came in. More attack investment Mashuks. But still, it looks like J-Dragon playing a bit of the old school Mashuks. He has a double screen instead of the traditional coat. but still 10% mitigation on anything that attacks with a double typing like that 𝗂𝗀𝗺. So hey, didn't go down, so able to get off a final attack. And let's see if he does, or he might just go down before. But no, it doesn't target 𝗵𝗂𝗃. It targets potato instead.
Okay. Putting potato in the trance seems really good. But at the same time, now 𝗵𝗂𝗃 have a free turn to do a P-jab. And lowering the defense from Valorant seems really good move. Like, yeah. What can use this minus defense, to be fair?
Yeah, it would only be the 𝗵𝗂𝗃 himself, and as well as this potato, right? Things like a little narcoleptic hit, or heck, even a little neutral toxic ink, that's still physical. It's still gonna do a little bit. I mean, you don't have to do that much. It's only hanging out around 28%. So, you know, 2 toxic inks are probably all you need to do to take that remaining HP from this Valorant down. But yeah, 𝗬𝗂𝗀𝗃 trying to make a bit of a comeback. If we look at the HP, it kind of looks very even. 𝗬𝗂𝗀𝗃 with a very healthy 𝗬𝗵𝗵𝗴 the move flank and a very healthy 𝗵𝗂𝗃. Oh, this might be closer. The only healthy Temtem J-Dragon still has remaining is that 𝗂𝗀𝗺 in the back, which might be a big deal because there's no more water Temtems for 𝗬𝗂𝗀𝗃. And hey, speaking of the devil, he will be making in. He will be coming in instead just to try to pressure out that 𝗵𝗂𝗃 the falling turn. And a double swap for J-Dragon. Very smart.
Okay. Another thing that I noticed is that this 𝗵𝗂𝗃 is using War Drum, and so it makes a really good option to pair up with move flank later. So yeah, and we just saw the Puppet Master be brought here, so maybe now Mix can start to do its shenanigans?
Yeah, I think so. You know, usually you're scared to get off something like a 1-Prowl side surge, but now that you're in Puppet Master range, 1-Prowl side surge sounds fantastic. You know, there's only one Temtem that has that AoE, and that is the 𝗬𝗃𝗺. But he can't swap into anything because that is way too low of an HP to be swapping in, because you just might be going down. You want to take advantage of Hurry Wart, so you want to come in on one of your Temtems def. But yeah, this mix is looking good. It's strong against the 𝗵𝗂𝗃. It's strong against the move flank. The only other AoE I'm seeing on 𝗬𝗂𝗀𝗃's side is Toxic Plume. But I don't think that's going to be enough to kill. Mix is like still in that 30% range or a little bit under that. But yeah, Toxic Plume shouldn't be enough. But here goes the tornado. And this is looking like a tireless 𝗵𝗂𝗃. So, oh, jeez. The 𝗵𝗂𝗃 out of there.
Yeah, that's the problem to not use a defensive item on 𝗵𝗂𝗃. But even so, there's something on favor for 𝗬𝗂𝗀𝗃. We have the Mix is not using the sweatband, so he cannot like keep spamming Crystal Spike if we want or stuff like this.
Yeah, very true. Maybe just a little energy manipulation to control 𝗬𝗂𝗀𝗃's stamina. But hey, we are approaching this end game here in turn 3. Final 3 Temtems remaining on 𝗬𝗂𝗀𝗃's side. And virtually only one Temtem really nice and healthy, which will be that potato. So this is dangerously close for both of these tamers. Let's see what comes in, because now 𝗬𝗃𝗺𝗃 could come in. And there goes Ashy the 𝗬𝗃𝗺𝗺, trying to get a final value before going off. And of course, Hurry Wart, the most balanced trait in the game. Aquatic Whirlwind coming back online. And not that he even needed Aquatic Whirlwind, because look at the 𝗂𝗀𝗺's HP. Any little attack would have taken it down. So I'm wondering, do you try to outspeed the Mix with a Tsunami? Or do you think a Crystal Spike is way too fast, being 3 priority?
It all depends how much speed this Mix has. And also, maybe you want to Water Curtain Lily to try to deal against 𝗂𝗏. Toucan, damn, I wrote it to win. Okay, but yeah, Mix is a real problem here for 𝗬𝗂𝗀𝗃. Let's see. Okay, so Aquatic Whirlwind to guarantee the kill on the Toucan, and we're about to see how much damage this Mix can deliver. Maybe a Quetz's Dirt to try to kill both of them. No, it's not running it probably. So trying to outspeed the 𝗬𝗃𝗺𝗺 using the Crystal Spike. And some rest.
Oh, of course, the rest to get the value off the matcha. But you know, if 𝗲𝗺 would have gone for a little feather Gatling there, he might have been able to take it down. You know, I wasn't paying attention to the stamina remaining on the 𝗲𝗺, so... maybe just thinking, Little Uzi did the right thing. He played it more safe. Because I believe he didn't expect J-Dragon to just stay in with 2 win there, right? I believe he was trying to read a potato swapping out to eat the AWW. So he didn't think that the mix would be so open like he did by taking down that Tokon. So, oh man, Little Uzi, final 2 Temtems remaining. And I don't believe we've seen a big size surge just yet, right? So Lucifer might be taking like 50-60% out of there with that size surge. Because there's no current AoE as it stands on this board.
The problem is that this potato is -1 defense, so rip potato.
Yeah, potato. It looks like it got cooked up and eaten already. And here goes the size surge as we mentioned before. Let's see how much it's gonna do. Oh, I thought it was gonna do 60. It did over 90.
That's a lot of damage. So now you want to guarantee the kill on what? That's the problem. I didn't pay attention to see if this move flank is it is unnoticed or not. Did you see this?
Yeah, I didn't see her. Yeah, I mean, it got attacked, so we wouldn't see the unnoticed proc, but I don't think I saw Hurry War, so I'm willing to bet this is indeed that unnoticed. But wait a second, I think there's a little glimmer of hope for Little Uzi. He has a Goring, which is a 3 prio move on this move flank available, so he's able to take down the Mashuk before anything could go off. And looking at the HP of the move flank, he's probably really fast. If he doesn't have HP, he probably has speed, he probably has attack. So let's see, does the Goring go off first is the question, and it does. So taking down the Mashuk, and Mix has to pick who is he killing. That means this 𝗲𝗺 just might be enough to take it down. Let's see, Little Uzi might have just made this incredible comeback against J-Dragon.
Wow.
Oh.
Yeah, now you have to see if the hyperkinetic, the hyperkinetic will be faster. So yeah, GG, real close game. Really nice play from Little Uzi.
Yeah, incredible. I thought Little Uzi was on the back ropes there, but not giving up till the end, and he will be victorious for that very first game. But remember,
and J-Dragon continue banning the 𝗂𝗽𝗚𝗃. So
I believe it was the same bands, right? Same bands from last game.
Yeah, it is the same bands. And J-Dragon not fearing the flying Thames brings the 𝗂𝗵𝗶 now that it's not a secret anymore in this gameplay.
Yeah, they're so true. That was almost, you know, J-Dragon had an unstoppable early game with that 𝗂𝗵𝗶, which is why we're so surprised Little Uzi was managed to bring that back. So yeah, impressive stuff. But you're completely right. Now that 𝗂𝗵𝗶 with the reactive vow, no longer a surprise. Let's see how Little Uzi makes an adjustment to try to take down that 𝗂𝗵𝗶 easier, or you know, before it's able to get so much. And the double 𝗲𝗺s, that is what Little Uzi has in mind. And J-Dragon tries to get this Tokon. I didn't get to see it. Was it a heater trait? I don't remember if it procced earlier on.
Yeah, I think it is a heater.
Okay.
80% sure, let's say like this.
Either way, we find out nice and early in that opening turn. So yeah, the heater could go a long way. Mitigating so much damage onto that 𝗂𝗵𝗶 is always a good thing to see, especially considering that's a reactive VAR, right? Recover 15%. These feather Gatlings might not even do 15% with that heater trait there.
Yeah. And now J-Dragon got Mix ban. Yeah, some respect to Mix. But now you have 𝗂𝗵𝗶 to use. Yeah, and that's the first peak.
Yeah, you know, I actually like that as Mix ban, because Mix almost won the game back for J-Dragon, right? It almost one-shot that move flank. It had the energy manipulations for the priority, and of course the big crystal spikes for the priority as well. So that is a solid ban. But I guess he leaves the 𝗲𝗵𝗶 open. If I remember, that might have been the second ban for Little Uzi. So let's see, maybe he could help out with this 𝗬𝗵. But looking at 𝗬𝗬𝗎's current lineup, 𝗬𝗵 not looking too good into the starting of 𝗬𝗬𝗎. Of course, good into the OCR, decent into the move flank, but not much more than that, honestly. So I think that was a better ban for 𝗬𝗬𝗎 getting that mix out of there.
Yeah, that's true. Now, yeah, 𝗬𝗵 have only one weakness on 𝗬𝗬𝗎 team, which is the move flank. Sorry. I forgot the name.
Which one?
Mushuk, sorry.
Okay.
Has only one weakness, which is Mushuk, but at the same time, like, not picky potato. It cuts my heart.
Yeah, 𝗧𝗵𝗺 without his 𝗧𝗲𝗺. But hey, fair enough. That is a lot of wind damage on 𝗬𝗬𝗎. We saw once one P-jab connects on 𝗧𝗲𝗺, those feather gatlings tear it apart. So reasonably so. But okay, Noxious Bomb onto the 2-win. So forgetting about the 𝗂𝗏𝗃, doesn't want to give it that reactive out value. Instead wants to start buffing up his special defenses. So bringing it down to under 60%, a little bit above that 50 mark. So a double Noxious Bomb won't be enough. But alright, you know, we didn't see the H-slap from the 𝗂𝗏𝗃 on game number 1. We're seeing it here in game number 2. Let's see what physical attackers in that back line. Okay, only the Mushuk to capitalize, and I guess the 𝗂𝗏𝗃 as well, right? So those two physical attackers bringing it down a little bit so they can hit a bit harder.
That's true. Well, and we saw now that both of the, like, the Mimic and the Valorant is already buffing themselves, like the special defense from themselves, and that's huge because as we saw, the rest of the team is basically special defense, special attackers, despite the battlefield that 𝗧𝗵𝗺 is using right now.
Yeah, you know, speaking of physical attackers, he was trying to take advantage of those H-slaps, so does bring in that Mushuk, but has to be a bit careful. Only one Temtem could have a reactive vial, right? And we know that's on the 𝗂𝗏𝗃. So now this Mushuk is here, and it can be focused down. Back-to-back feather gatlings. We saw how... Actually, no. This is a parrier Mushuk on 𝗧𝗵𝗺's side. So this is a bulkier Mushuk. So I think this was a really nice play for 𝗧𝗵𝗺. Now with just, you know, some waste waters for neutral pressure on either spot, is looking at like a solid 20 to 30%, I want to say, from those waste waters because of the -1 defense. If we were 𝗧𝗵𝗺, who will we target first? I mean, it looks like 𝗧𝗵𝗺 was making a -1 defense on both of these Temtems. So where does he want to target? Because I can't read exactly what he wants to do. Maybe you just take out the normal bird?
Yeah, I would go for the normal bird because of matcha. Just because of this. You don't want to leave the bird there. The problem is that, okay, if this Mushuk get killed, not in this turn, but in the next turns, you only have one option to, like, one attacker to use these debuffs for, like, increased damage, right? And it's not super effective, sadly. So, yeah, a little hard for 𝗧𝗵𝗺, I would say. But even so, playing real well.
Yeah, setting it up quite nice, but the heater trade on both sides, so mitigating that 30% damage, and 𝗧𝗵𝗺 making a 5-head read, saying he wants to bring in that Tokon, does decide to bring in the 𝗂𝗏𝗃, so nicely done. It will be a feather gatling, and look at that, parrier, such a good trade. Didn't even go be under that 50%. But now that the tornado is here, but no, wait a second. This is just the mind games, right? Does the Tokon want to stay in front of a big aquatic whirlwind from this 𝗂𝗏𝗃? I think that's too scary, right?
Yeah, I agree with you. It is too scary, but do you wanna risk all in on this Mushuk? Kind of hard, in my opinion.
Yeah, because if 2-win is faster, we keep calling him 2-win. If Tokon is faster than the 𝗂𝗏𝗃, which I know 𝗂𝗏𝗃 is naturally faster than the Tokon. So, I mean, Aquatic Whirlwind it's tough to outspeed these top, they used to be the fastest Temtem. 𝗬𝗪𝗧, Ocear, 𝗬𝗂𝗏, they were always tied for the fastest Temtem in the game. And then 𝗵𝗫𝗫𝗫 came along and became the fastest. So these guys are the second fastest now. So very tough to outspeed them. So AWW staring that 𝗬𝗪𝗫 the 𝗂𝗀𝗏 straight in the face and only has the Machoke in the back line to try to eat that up, which wouldn't be terrible. I think that's going to be a good line to play. Just swap in, keep it safe, swap in into the Machoke. And then, this Voliran, never mind. I thought it could do something, but it is running so low on stamina. I don't think it wants to stay in. This just might be a potential double swap. And if Jay wants to read this, call me crazy, but an Aquatic Whirlwind onto Voliran, expecting it to swap out? We'll see him.
Yeah. Okay, so just as expected, the Machoke is there to tank the Aquatic Whirlwind, and we're gonna see if it is green circle attack. It is. So even so, it is a lot of damage for a not effective attack, right?
Yeah, that was huge. This Machoke has like no special defense invested there. And we thought the Voliran would swap out, but it stays in to its death there. So well done for J-Dragon. And man, for being half effective, the Aquatic Whirlwind almost doing like a little wind burst, right? 40% out the window on this Machoke. And now something like a Blizzard probably takes it down, but being one priority on that Blizzard, that wastewater from this War Drum Machoke should be the fastest thing to go. So yeah, I don't think this 𝗬𝗫𝗏 wants to hang out. I believe he should save it for that Toucan in the back line. So who does he potentially want to swap out? It might be time for the bad dragon in the back.
The 𝗬𝗫𝗏 seems the safer swap here. Swap here. And okay, even so, like, you can just ignore this. Like, if you are a little Uzi, expecting a swap there, and maybe use some P-Jabs or Humiliating Slap in this case, since it is a Tireless Machoke, to just buff the damage from Lucifer.
And wait a second, Zhao, I believe J-Dragon going with the brave 5-head play, keeping the 𝗬𝗏𝗏 in the face of certain death. Wastewater 100% would have taken the Machoke, but Little Uzi respecting his opponent so much that he tried to make the read of that Calabash coming in, so wanted to ignore the 𝗬𝗏𝗏 spot. But oh man, J-Dragon, such a brave play. But sometimes when you're one game down like this, you gotta go for those riskier plays. And in this situation, it works out beautifully. Look at that move flank. It just came in nice and healthy the previous turn and already down to about 20%, discounting the additional toxic tick remaining on it. So man, incredible. He almost could have gone for a Blizzard since he didn't go down, but I think taking down move flank was a good option as well.
Yeah, also expecting a cage coming from Little Uzi, that's pretty reasonable to try to go all in. But now you have the Aquatic Whirlwind ready to go, so maybe that's a good move to do right now.
And alright, we have 3 Machokes on the current board, but as you said, Aquatic Whirlwind is online. And he goes for the 𝗵𝗫𝗫, so it doesn't do as much damage as we saw that Tireless Machoke take. I believe... Oh, actually, no. It just did... Maybe it doesn't have the same HP. Or, it doesn't have a lot of HP on the 𝗵𝗫𝗶𝗶 Machoke. But hey, that one last H-Slap will be enough to take down J-Dragon's Machoke. So he does bring in that Toucan. And man, versus this current board, Toucan is loving what he's seeing. I believe he never deployed the Tornado, right? I think he swapped out with Tornado still online. So of course, it would still be online right now. And oh, it was the special defense. That's why it did so little. Look at the scoreboard. The 𝗵𝗫𝗫𝗏 has +2 special defense. No wonder the Aquatic did so little.
That's true. Yeah, you read it right. So now that you have double Machoke basically on the battlefield, this still kind of seems really good here. But at the same time, like, you're gonna leave 𝗬𝗏𝗏 to get the HP back, because like this 𝗬𝗏𝗏, you need to handle it. Like you need to kill it soon, because the Little Uzi Toucan is not being able to play just because of this 𝗬𝗫𝗃, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you were J Dragon, would you sorry, Little Uzi, would you swap now or do an all-win?
Yeah, keep in mind, one tornado 100% takes down Little Uzi's real Mashuk, the one without special defense. We saw it almost go from 100 down to 0, so we know tornado goes first. So I think Little Uzi has to swap that out. With that knowledge in mind, the only reasonable swap to try to eat that tornado will be the other Toucan. So I don't know if 𝗬𝗫𝗃 overexert or not. If it did not overexert, he can try to get off. And no, okay, maybe just sacrificing the move flank here. But 𝗬𝗫𝗃 does hit the back line. And alright, it looks like it's time for this 𝗬𝗫𝗃. He did so much in game 1. Hasn't really shined just yet. And okay, J Dragon making the read. And ooh, despite having +2 special defense, tornado is just way too strong.
Hell yeah, man. A lot of damage. No matter what, that's a lot of damage. Okay, bringing the 𝗬𝗃𝗃. Nice name. Bring the 𝗬𝗃𝗃 now. Against, yeah, so you had the 𝗬𝗃𝗃 there, but the reactive Vile 𝗬𝗫𝗃 seems really strong right now as well. And the Lucifer, one thing or not, it's -1 attack. It's still gonna deliver some decent damage, but at the same time, it's not that much damage, right? So with Garing, to guarantee some damage being delivered, and a tornado hitting the 𝗬𝗫𝗃, it brings down to 40%. That's a lot. But the reactive Vile getting back to 55%. The Fire Heist guaranteed the kill on the move flank, and here we see the Water Jet getting the Toucan to 35%. Whoa,
yeah,
that's a lot.
A lot indeed. And you know, now there is nowhere to run for that Wardrobe Mashuk. Tornado one more time back online. I think J Dragon comfortably in the driver's seat. There's nothing Little Uzi can do about it. Tornado will connect on that Mashuk. I don't think Little Uzi's Toucan can take it down. Fire Soul trying to do it down to 44. But there goes that big tornado. And just like that, J Dragon looking to take us into that game 3 situation. Because I think something like an Aqua Stone might just be coming out here.
Yeah. So Little Uzi got some really important info from J Dragon, like the speed.
We have some J Dragon fans. Do we have some Little Uzi fans? Let us know, because everything is decided right here, right now.
Yeah, a lot of people bet on J Dragon. Let's see how it goes in this last match.
Yeah, absolutely. So now they know, as you said, a lot of info for game 1 and game 2. So we'll see if it's the same bands from before.
Yeah. And I also saw how much damage this 𝗬𝗫𝗃 did. Like, it by itself just delivered so much damage that the 𝗬𝗃𝗃 was not needed in the last match. And we see the respect on the bad dragon.
That is right. Respect has been earned on that reactive Vile 𝗬𝗫𝗃. And fair enough, the 𝗬𝗫𝗃 was very pesky for Little Uzi. He has wind Temtems, but that doesn't even matter when you're dealing with reactive Vile. But now we get to see 𝗂𝗀𝗄 in action. It was no longer banned. Let's see if that's going to be biting Little Uzi in the butt, though, because that is 2 wind Temtems versus an electric Temtem. And we know electric is effective into these wins. So wait a second. Even having the counter pick, choosing a toll win. Is it just for the heater, I would imagine, right? To try to make that sparkling bullet not really connect all that much, perhaps?
And maybe to guarantee a good answer for the other toxic Temps.
Yeah, very true. Very true. I think it's more of what you said, Zhao.
But the heater, yeah, for sure can help a lot tanking, because this 𝗂𝗀𝗄𝗃 probably would deliver a lot of damage in turn 1, no matter what comes there.
Yeah, we'll see. Of course, even without those electrics, pack such a punch. 𝗂𝗄𝗽𝗍 with the stab. Something that Yowler can't say the same. So yeah, as you said earlier, he's a psycho. He's a psychopath ready to pop off against Little Uzi. But Little Uzi's Temtems, they're not only fast, they pack such a punch. So 𝗂𝗀𝗃 isn't really the tankiest of the bunch. You know, something like a 𝗬𝗶𝗶 and a Fiery Soul, those two attacks might just be enough to take it down if they find each other on that same board, of course. And 𝗬𝗏𝗺 does get picked up. Move Flank looking to get picked up as well. And you know, we haven't seen a game without the Mimic. I feel like Mimic is nice though, because maybe you can copy this Puppet Master mix down the road. Actually, I don't know how much it'll help though.
But also, like, I saw it before in the other tourney, the double move flank, it seems really strong as well. Yeah. But yeah, we all want to see the Mimic now. Even so, move flank and Mushuk, yeah, there's something that is bothering me. The Mushuk was not able to use the Tireless properly in the last game. Took too long to get into the 2OX, and yeah, since after the patch that make the Tireless buff only procs after the OX, this Mushuk is not delivering that much damage that it was supposed to, since it is a Tireless one.
Yeah, I completely agree. Tireless doesn't seem as effective as it was before. It's still decent. +1 attack is not to be scoffed at. But at the same time, having it after the effect, taking 3 turns to get your stamina down is just a little bit too long. I definitely feel Parrier might just be the way to go moving forward. But still, Lil Uzi likes to have the more attack-based Mushuk. And fair enough, it does have the War Drum, so able to partner up with the Voldaren, able to partner well with the move flank as well. So we'll see if it works out. Like we said before, this is it, guys. Final game of today's day, or of today's week number 2. Let's see. As we said before, though, 𝗂𝗀𝗇 with something like a Sparkling Bullet. 𝗧𝗲, what other electric attacks does it have? Is it only Charged Iron Filings, or am I forgetting one?
The 𝗂𝗀𝗇?
Yeah.
You have the Defibrillate as well.
Okay. Does it learn the P-Blow too? The Piezoelectric Bow? I can't remember. I always confuse it with Ragnit.
Physical one, it's only the Defibrillate, Sparkling Bullet, and Charge Iron Filings.
Okay.
Filings.
Alright, well, we'll see. It looks like prioritizing the 𝗂𝗀𝗇 is what Lil Uzi wants to do, but there goes a little Sparking Bullet and doesn't do 50%. Okay, so it has to do a bit more on top of that Sparkling Bullet to take down this Tokon with it.
Yeah, not having the synergy, that's it. You cannot kill this. Full, like I'm trying to remember the name of the town, but I'm saying full. Like, okay, you cannot kill the Toucan with only 1 Sparkling Bullet. Yeah, but even so, like, look how much damage you deliver, and at the same time, the Diffuser helped a lot.
Yeah, a lot indeed. No fire chip because of that removal. Noxious Bomb almost taking down the 𝗂𝗀𝗇. But wait a second. Oh, is Charged Iron Filings enough? And yes, it is. Actually, it takes down both of these Temtems. Oh, that is a brutal dub. Oh, actually, no. The burn gets a remove. Diffuser. Diffuser saving the bird. But at the same time, what you gonna do with only 1 or 2 HP? So it's virtually dead already.
That's true, and especially a Voldaren that is not that fast. So you can try to apply some damage using the Hyperkinetic Strike, but that's not ideal, to be fair.
Yeah, definitely. And you know, I take it back. I said the 𝗂𝗀𝗇 wasn't so tanky, but it ate 2 Fiery Souls and 2 Noxious Bombs. That is decently tanky. So hey, 𝗂𝗀𝗇 is an appropriate name for this 𝗂𝗀𝗇. And hey, the Pansuns screen doing some good work as well. He wasn't able to receive those ticks of burns from the Fiery Souls, so he would normally be a little bit lower, right? 6.25% lower. And I believe it mitigates at least 10% of those fire damage too. So he could have gone down without that Pansun screen.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. 𝗂𝗀𝗇 is not known as tanky because usually people build it really speed and damage. But at the same time, this 𝗂𝗀𝗇, just as you said, is really tanking a lot.
And yeah, with that, it looks like he's finally going to be out his way out. But I think he got plenty value. Took down the Tokon and almost taking down this Voldaren with it. So I think that was fine. Almost essentially a 2-for-1, if you will, right? Almost 2 Temtems for the 1. That is what we call a value trade. But now this mix comes in. Now that the AWW has been released from this 𝗬𝗧𝗺, and now this Machoke having some solid pressure. Wastewater onto it doesn't feel that bad. And I think this mix coming in gives that priority onto 𝗏𝗏𝗏's side. So, you know, a little energy manipulation. There's not a good swap out for that. Either the Volrun goes down, or the little melee Temtem / neutral Temtems in the back will also take double damage from the little EM. So I think this mix was a perfect swap for JD.
That's true, but at the same time, like, we already know how much damage the 𝗬𝗧𝗺 does with the 𝗧𝗵𝗺 Wrath. Is not enough to put the mix on the Puppet Master. And yeah, if I was 𝗏𝗏𝗏, I would just double the 𝗬𝗧𝗺 spot, to be fair.
Oh, you think ignored? Actually, you're so right? Because the Volrun, if he wants to do anything, he goes down on his own, right? So I think you're absolutely right. Just keep focusing down that 𝗬𝗧𝗺 spot. It might be...
to guarantee the kill there, because if you let this 𝗬𝗧𝗺 alive, next turn you can quite whirlwind your mix, and that's not something that I want.
Yeah, especially with that +1 special attack if it goes for the 𝗧𝗵𝗺's Wrath right here. But no, not trying to take the wastewater to the face. Instead, it brings in this Machoke to try to eat the wastewater. Let's see what Jay did. But Little Uzi going down on his own terms. HKS connecting decently. Down a little under 40% that Machoke goes.
Yeah, and this is spikes being delivered there. That's a lot of damage, especially against tireless Machoke. Plus the water, the wastewater. So yeah, that double on the 𝗬𝗧𝗺 spot was really good.
I think so as well. And you know, time and time again, this Machoke is feeling so vulnerable. You know, a crystal spike is just neutral damage, and it essentially did 70%. 70% on what normally should be like a bulkier Machoke. So I don't know. I guess Little Uzi is more used to playing this Machoke on like free swap-ins where it doesn't have to try to come and eat some damage, because you know it just can't eat it whatsoever. And usually things like a parry Machoke are supposed to soak up so much damage. Of course, more physical than special, but which is why you build it in that special defense when you TB train it. But yeah, Little Uzi not having none of that, but we'll see how it works out for him. He does have everything online for it, but I don't know how much he can do for this current board, right? He doesn't do too much against the mix, and of course doesn't do too much against the Machoke unless he can get off a 𝗏 perhaps. That could be like the smallest thing he could possibly do.
Yeah, I'm trying to see what's the best move from Little Uzi. The bad thing is that since this mix is using Strange Vest, I don't see a Aquatic Whirlwind killing the mix. So, okay, some 45% damage, if I'm not wrong, something like this. Okay, 47% damage on the mix. So next turn, it's gonna do a lot of damage on this mix. But if it is a double up on the 𝗬𝗧𝗺, that's basically GG for mix, in my opinion.
And whoa, did you catch that, Zao? A 𝗧𝗵𝗺's Wrath was faster than a 3 prio crystal spike. So, you know, we were asking that question earlier throughout the series. But either way, we're not going to be able to find out. 𝗬𝗧𝗺 is on his way out. No aquatic whirlwind remaining. So, can't take out this mix with a single hit. And, you know, this is an uphill climb for Little Uzi. These are the final 2 Temtems. Potato hasn't even been touched. Still 𝗏𝗏𝗏 still kicking for both of these Temtems. I think 𝗏𝗏𝗏 might have just solidified the W for this final game. I'm not seeing any other way around it.
Yeah, me too. And also, like, imagine the 5-head just putting mix on the Puppet Master. It's not possible because the move flank will do it for, but even so, it would be kind of funny. Okay, so here we're gonna see a mix and probably a age slap on the mix. Any manip guaranteeing the kill before the age slap. So yeah, I completely agree with what I was saying before. This Machoke, like, it seems really good. It seems like a really good potential delivering damage, but it's just not lasting until you can deliver this damage. So in my opinion, the Perrier seems much more valuable.
Yeah,
Gives much more value to the battlefield.
yeah, of course, but hey, to each his own. Maybe he gets it, maybe just like how I was doing in testing, not so much in actual practice for today, but hey, there's always something to learn from these games. But Fire Tornado doing some big damage, and Jade Dragon will be victorious, guys.